It's finally time. Time for justice. Or time for ice cream. Both are delicious. I did have some ice cream, which was pretty good. It was not that good, it was okay. I'm a little bit out of my mind here. I changed some stuff on OBS. I color coded some stuff because apparently you can just do that. Because for a while I didn't know that. And it's gonna throw me for a loop every single time it happens. Every single time I look at the at the options, you're gonna be like, oh my god, so many colors. Not everything is color coded, but a bunch of stuff is. And it will probably be for the best in the long run. Uh, oh, that was weird. I don't know what happened there. I had to admit I'm getting very tired of YouTube's antics. Very tired of the constant memory losses every single time I want to do anything. Every single time I want to change something, every single time I want to do anything in YouTube Studio, always breaks, and I'm sick of this. I'm sick of this. Stop it. These big tech companies not being completely useless, challenge impossible. I guess I'm expecting too much from them. Who knew? Who knew? Just have decide without breaking, like it happened before? Nah, pal, you're asking too much now. Jesus, man, please. Absolutely obnoxious. Yes, it was especially jarring. I didn't have enough time to go to about processes in Firefox to try and kill the tab that was lagging. So everything just lagged, so I just had to kill Firefox. Maybe it's better killed. Do not get this fox into my chickens, or the chicken coop. However you say that. They're gonna kill the chickens. For fun, by the way. They can't do that, they will just kill all the chickens. Despite them only being able to carry one of them. Maybe they're too ambitious. I guess I can stand something like that. Oh. But it's Saturday. And Saturday we check news. And I know recently we had very depressing news. I don't want to say things are good. I don't want to say things are fixed. But I want to say things are kinda looking up. Which, I mean, it's a start. It's a start. We cannot complain too much about those. I think it might be a positive going forward if things kinda work right now. Before starting with the actually serious stuff, we're gonna take a short detour. So we're opening up our appetite a little bit for some delicious pineapple kool-aid later. Which apparently is also a thing nowadays. We have that too. Don't worry about it. We also have that one. Let me bring up some music here. It's not September, but it seems nice. They have whole, sure, whatever. How is this black and white too? That doesn't make any sense. Sure, I will believe your lies. No reason not to, if I'm being honest. Oh, by the way, despite Kick breaking on me the other day, I ended up being able to fix it. It was really weird. I just had to kinda delete data from the site and logging again. It was giving me some sort of error about, you cannot go in because you're using a VPN. I was not using a VPN. Restart the internet, didn't work. Restart the computer, didn't work. Actually use the VPN, didn't work. I don't know what happened there. It was really silly. So if it happens to you, you know how to fix it. Okay, where's the thing? It's browser, so now it's in red. My goodness. Oh, it's Firefox, so it's laggy. Jesus Christ, man, I don't remember when Firefox was good. What happened? What happened this year for this to be just completely useless right now? Kinda pisses me off, man. Kinda pisses me off. Stop lagging! Stop lagging, OBS. Nothing is happening. You're pissing me off to no end. We have an article about PewDiePie. Surprisingly enough, I haven't been following this man since we went to Japan. I watched a couple of videos. They were a little bit few and far in between, as they say. I get it. I get it. The guy is just kind of retired. He has his family now. It is good. It is good. I'm not saying otherwise. But I just stopped paying attention. And apparently this man just launched his answers to ChatGPT, and it's completely free. I do find somewhat hilarious that his AI is called Odysseus. And we're not talking about the movie, but the timing is just beautiful. Let's see here what's going on. PewDiePie's ambitions have finally become a reality after months of documenting his journey into building his own free AI platform. As revealed in a video titled, "My $1 trillion prize is finally out." Trillion? I mean, I don't think it cost the guy $1 trillion, but it might be worth $1 trillion if this is actually good. PewDiePie has officially launched Odysseus, a free-self-hosted AI workspace designed to give users an alternative to popular platforms like ChatGPT and Cloud. I will go a little more in depth with this when we finish the article, but I think this is actually huge. I'm not sage about the AI or anything like that. I just know a little bit about it. But something I have seen time and time again is companies just firing or laying off a bunch of employees just to use AI. And there was a hilarious case that I saw recently on Twitter. I didn't save it, and I tried to look that up, and I didn't find it. So maybe I dreamt it. I'm not quite sure. There was a big tech company. I want to say it was Meta, but it's probably incorrect. They were just using AI for everything, which, okay, it's a little bit bold. But they finally found out the problems of just using AI, which was you quickly run out of tokens. So that kind of begs the question. I understand that AI is a technology. For interesting, for the future to some extent. We'll see how all of this generative AI ends up evolving. To be fair, it has gotten pretty good. We've shown... I was about to say last week. It was actually this week. And that's really well done. Tranquil 6 animation of Terry fighting Lizzie. I was rather impressed with that. Pretty good. Is it gonna be the best? Probably not. But it's probably gonna be really helpful. A really powerful tool for pretty much anything that's developing. If you go into music, if you go into movies, shows, etc., I'm not quite sure. Surely it's gonna be useful for some menial tasks. But the business model, to me, is just an atrocity. You're paying a subscription-based model, which is what it is. You get a bunch of tokens, so you can gamble and try to get the correct outcome. That seems like a really bad idea, I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what they were thinking. Well, we like money. It's also kind of insane how some of the tech companies, I mean not the biggest ones, but tech companies, don't even have their own AIs. A friend of mine is right now working for also a tech company. He didn't really explain what he was doing, honestly. I'm assuming it was something a little bit experimental. It was data management, kinda. And there were some exercises he has to do, or some project maybe, where he ended up using AI. The company's AI, which according to him is just absolutely terrible. He told me it's like ChatGPT but bad. And I kept wondering, but isn't ChatGPT pretty bad? I've seen ChatGPT, I don't think it's that good. I haven't really used it myself. So, we'll see. We'll potentially see the AI bubble pop. Not so much the technology itself, but everything about the business, which is usually what becomes a bubble, right? Like .com, like I don't want to say not industry, it's the other thing, housing. And we'll see. We'll see. I think it's deserved. I think it's being overblown. I think it's being oversold as a great solution. I just don't think it's right there. It's still way too expensive for what you get. And if you want to use AI, I think it's fine. I don't think it's a big deal. I will also be a little bit selfish and say, look, if you're gonna use a lot of AI in your video game, especially if your video game consumes a huge amount or everything, all of the art is just AI generated, I'm not willing to pay as much. I think it's fair. I have my own rules, but to each their own. Over the last year, the YouTuber has been diving deep into AI development, building custom systems to run open source models on his own hardware, and aiming to create a tool that offers the same convenience as mainstream AI platforms through relying on cloud services, handing data over to major tech companies, which I don't think is huge. Partially because cloud services, they might be down, whatever, but now handing data over to major tech companies, that's pretty good. I'm assuming this is just, I haven't looked up into this yet. This is my first read of this article actually. And as they mention here, it's self-hosted, which I think it's a really good idea. You shouldn't be throttled by talking stuff. You shouldn't have a lot of issues because of data. Recently I'm seeing a couple of tweets, maybe the same tweet twice. There was somebody saying, yeah, do not give your address to... Was it ChatGPT? I think it was ChatGPT. Some sort of AI agent. And I thought, well, isn't that pretty obvious? Then again, a new internet is just a massive disaster. Well, now that project is finally arrived. Bitcoin launches a free self-hosted AI workspace Odysseus. According to the official description, Odysseus is a self-hosted interface for talking to language models, chat, autonomous agents, tools, smooth serving, email, research, and more. Local first, privacy first, and no telemetry. It's you and your models. They have the embed for the beta here. You can definitely go to YouTube and watch it if you want. I haven't watched it. Maybe I should have. Just an interface, so it should be pretty light on processing on your side, I think. But it might come with trouble. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think this is probably a very complex endeavor, and I should probably watch the video before I say anything about, oh, this is gonna fail, or this is gonna be pretty good. I can only mention, well, this has potential. The interface is essentially designed as an all-in-one AI workspace where users cannot, sure, good job, can connect local models or external APIs, run autonomous AI agents, perform deep research tasks, compare multiple model outputs side by side, image documents directly inside the platform. I think the multiple model outputs side by side is pretty interesting. Sometimes, well, not sometimes, I guess sometimes, but it's mostly about the kind of stuff you're trying to do with these models. Different models have best results for different things, which kind of makes sense, but if you don't know enough about that, the quick comparison can... I'm assuming it's quick. This 7% comparison will quickly tell you which kind of model you want to use for specific activities. Which, yeah, at the end of the day, it's probably a good idea. In the last video, PewDiePie showcases the interface's various features, demonstrating how it can handle research tasks, manage conversations, and operate as a private AI assistant without relying entirely on third-party services. Despite all that, the main focus of the platform is privacy. This is marketed as a local-first experience, meaning users can keep their conversations, files, and personal data on hardware they control, rather than sending everything to external servers. Also kinda huge, I saw a different tweet this time. I'm pretty sure this time it was actually ChatGPT. A user was saying, okay, be careful with ChatGPT, because if you want to delete your account or you want to delete the iteration of the model, maybe? I'm not quite sure how those things work. They might, or not might, they will just release all of the conversations to the public. And the guy allegedly had about 6 billion chats, which is an insane amount, as AI is not that old. Hey, do you know the privacy is pretty good? Imagine. The project is also completely open source and free to use. On the website, PewDiePie describes it as having no sales team, consumer requests, no Trojan horse, while encouraging users to download, modify, and host it themselves. If this was anybody else, maybe I couldn't believe the guy. But it being PewDiePie, I can actually believe it. The guy just does this for the sake of it, like when he was learning to draw just because. That was beautiful. This guy doesn't need to lie to you. This guy is already set for life. He has his businesses, and that's fine. Now need to be, oh, so you will want to get my data. Literally anybody else, I would be suspicious. I think we can trust PewDiePie. Now let me be wrong for once. I'd rather not. I want to keep being right. If it is for something good. The philosophy was come down during the launch with one of the product's most direct messages aimed at major AI companies. The war on big tech has just begun. This is also very interesting. What is this song? What the hell? That's this theme in the Ranger games. Oh. Cool! Cool theme, what the hell? Never played the Ranger games. Something I mentioned before, how they're just trying to fix, quote-unquote fix, or upgrade, or improve AI in general, just using fucking nukes. And sure, I understand that the hardware part is always important, because of course you're gonna be bottlenecked by the hardware of the servers for the queries, the prompts, however those things work exactly, right? But just trying to use infinite hardware, it's not gonna give you the results you desire, because you can still fix a lot of things, and you can still improve a lot of things by tampering with the code, which I'm assuming they were not doing so much. I'm talking about, is it OpenAI? Some madman, and his strange technique of juggling $1 trillion with a bunch of different tech companies. That was really weird. There are better ways of doing things for sure. We also have here, related to AI, this to it. It's loading, you know how it is. I will probably need to switch to Brave for all of the tabs. Brave is much better in this regard. Never gives me this amount of trouble. It's always Firefox nowadays. I don't understand how it became so absolutely horrible. Microsoft bans cloud code. The AI costs more than the humans it replaced. This is a little bit of a misguided statement, to be fair. They're changing licensing for cloud code because apparently some people are still using OG Cloud, I think. And they're trying to push those people to use Cloud Code instead to lower the traffic on OG Cloud, maybe? That's what I understood from what I read. Not as impressive as you might think, but yeah, this still demonstrates that AI might not be cost effective, might be still too expensive, both energy and server side. Too expensive still. Which, what did you expect? The technology is really new. I think we're all really impressed with its evolution in the past, what, 3 years? Very impressive, for sure. But that doesn't mean you can just sell it and oh, look, it's so good, it's so beautiful, it just works. I mean, it works for some stuff, but it's not just, we fixed mankind, we fixed the world, everything is fine now. Not quite. Not quite. This is still very much growing pains. He went to the humans and passing the cost-benefit evaluation, which not the case for Microsoft, I don't think, but for sure for other tech companies. Pretty funny. Amazon can't afford it, Microsoft can't afford it. That means your shitty business can't afford it either. EA bubble is bursting. Once again, not a tech bubble, an economy bubble. Because the business model is just an atrocity. We read so many strange things about the business side of AI, and I'm still baffled they allow some of these things to happen. Especially when we're talking about the energy. Sure, data centers, they have to build those, and of course they will have to shoulder the costs, right? Because you need a lot of energy. Sure, the main problem that we saw was that those increases in costs were not being shouldered by the data centers themselves, but instead by normal people living nearby. Which, yeah, that shouldn't happen. It's not your fault. You might have been living there for decades. Maybe you have an all-family house that's been there for almost a century, maybe more, and suddenly you get screwed because of data center. Well, no, that is not fair. You're not using more energy. It's not you who should be paying that increase. Very insane. Also, Canada for Europe. Yeah, I don't know about this guy. Not entirely wrong what he's saying here, but still. I couldn't talk a maximum company in the financial crisis. So you're saying to show up for Gen Z? I mean, potentially. And it's gonna take all your jobs. It actually costs more than it's worth of the job. Not necessarily worse, but I don't think AI can just be independent right now, which probably fair. Also, speaking of AI and AI agents, we have this to finish this, I want to say short tangent. Kinda short, it was just three tabs, but bots have now passed human traffic online. Clothur Boss laments, says agentic traffic wasn't expected to eclipse real people until next year. The clankers, it's too late. But automated versus human HTTP requests are split 57.5 versus 42.5%, according to the firm's latest data. I will mention something here, some sort of silver lining. Don't think this is as bad as it seems, because I know some people use AI as if it was a search engine. So instead of going to Google, which would increase HTTP requests, and try to look up, I don't know, chicken sandwiches nearby, for example. Some people will just use AI instead, and that will increase the automated side. And might seem silly because it's a very stupid example that I just gave, but I do understand where they're coming from when some of these search engines these seem very usable anymore, especially with Google. We already read that thing about, oh, look at us, we're gonna change the whole search engine to be AI. And you look at the AI side and you're like, oh, no, what are you doing? This is not even what I'm telling you to do. Stop it. You just have the promoted? I think it's promoted. Links at the top because they paid. They just have a bunch of bloat. So I understand why some people would just use AI for that. I think it makes sense because it offers good results. Not because it's the AI apocalypse or anything like that. What about DuckDuckGo? I have been using DuckDuckGo, it's actually not too bad. I do have my qualms with it, because they are not so... Oh, privacy first, they have made some terrible mistakes. But Brave search engine is just ass. It's really bad, I wish it was better. I use it sometimes and oh my god dude, please. If it's not the most obvious first result for the query, no, it's not usually worth my effort. Rapid increase in agentic internet traffic means WhatsApp now pass human traffic online for the first time in the internet's history. The dead internet theory. It's not a theory anymore, it's actually real. You can see and co-founder of Cloudflare, Matthew Prince. Holy, what a last name, dude! Mr. Prince, it's actually Lord, mind you. Well, that happened faster than I predicted. Prince awkwardly admitted, making his previous expectations of the crossover happening sometime in 2027. Seem way off the mark. I think it's so much off the mark. Yeah, nothing new. They have the blog post here, I'm assuming. Oh, it didn't load. This load last time. Oh, there we go. Take a little bit. Before going on, it's important to differentiate this new search showing internet traffic from traditional bots. Most will be aware of things like website crawlers, search indexers, and advanced stuff like fraud or abuse bots. It's different now, as Cloudflare starting agents that browse the web much like humans on behalf of humans. It's already at a massive scale. Some people have been wondering, okay, what about ads? How does advertising work with this? Because of course, if you show ads to the agents, yeah, they're not gonna buy anything, they're just clankers, right? They're just AI. I actually have no idea. I understand the wars and tribulations some people may have with this. But it's maybe a bit too soon. We might see more apocalypses. AI apocalypse, apocalypse, I'm sick of this. You might wonder what all these AI agent bots are actually up to, particularly if you're not running your own army of digital helpers. Thankfully, Cloudflare has addressed the scope of AI bot activity in previous articles and blogs. Also, last year, it started classifying traffic according to these new website visitors, samples given, signed agents, and verified bots. Verified bots and signed agents. You might be a clanker, but you're one of the good ones. It's kind of funny wording. It's why the chart don't go back very far. And had the chart here. Bots in dark blue and humans in light blue. Is this cyan? That was just Final Fantasy VI though. We see just always above 50%. In some cases we see up to 60%. That's crazy. 61%. 61%. That's rather close to 2/3, isn't it? Pretty interesting. Well, former currently AI agents are online doing stuff like reading product pages, checking prices, performing multi-step tasks online like comparing flights, scraping and indexing web content. I'm joking a little bit today. But for AI models, not search engines. Nadian's personal assistants to order food, compare shop, and handle customer service interactions. Handle customer service interactions. Finally, good news of the clankers. Jeez. At the time of writing, Cloudflare data suggests that the balance between bot versus human web traffic is really firmly favoring the former. Split 57.5 versus 42.5%. A mere shift from humans clicking around, being the primary customers of the web, to AI agents in this time has already happened. The rate of change has even taken Prince by surprise. In replies to the embedded tweet, Prince also noted that the date of the human/bot crossover wasn't clear as the data is a bit messy. Nevertheless, we're clearly on the other side now, he added. I do wonder a little bit here if this is something good or bad, as usual. I don't think it's necessarily wrong of people to just want to use AI for information gathering. I think it's a pretty nice use of the technology. But at the same time, I don't want to say a lot of people, because I'm not sure if it's a lot of people. Some people, quite perhaps obsessed with AI, perhaps using AI a little bit much, like as if it was a psychologist, which I don't think it's probably the best idea. As we know, some of these AIs scrub too much information from the likes of Reddit. Never good. But at the same time, they just believe the AI. Oh, but the AI said so. Yeah, but you don't know anything. You don't even know what you're asking of the AI, or you cannot even interpret properly what the AI is saying. So, as usual, is this something good or bad? Who knows? What the? Hold up. What is this? What did you... Oh, should I? Yeah, I should probably update this. I can do this later. Need to worry about this now. I can do that later. So yeah, as usual, I'm a little bit on edge with AI because I understand the problems. Because I understand people are stupid. Always debating my existence. However, cloud metrics measure HTTP requests, not engagement. Flash and blood files remain the primary users of the web in terms of total time spent in app usage, streaming, and infinite scrolling feeds. Careful, we know the EU wants to ban those. This means simply don't generate the same volume of rapid-fire page load requests as automated agents do. Which is fair. It is fair. You're limited to your reading skills, for example. We're also interested in looking at Cloudflare's breakdown of human/bot traffic by country. The most bot-ridden traffic comes from the tiny island of Gibraltar, 92.1%, followed by Singapore, 76.4% in Iran, also 76.4%. Funny. Very funny. Although these places have a lot of data centers and hosting infrastructure compared to the population size, a bot count may rather come to the heavy use of VPNs with automated scrapping and bypass tools. Unfortunately, previously flagged Iran as a hotspot for malicious bot activity. Well, to be fair, I can't believe that. Not really that unbelievable. There's also the thing of people just using... Hold up. Okay. You got rid of it already. That's good. When you see war propaganda, yeah, you might also see AI. I'm sorry, that will just happen. I'm not saying that, oh, it's only Iran doing this, but some stuff you see that seems a little bit suspicious. Sometimes it is a little bit suspicious for a reason, after all. Strange AI tangent at the beginning here. We can see all of the comments here. Well, I wonder what the advertisers think about this. They already pay huge money for ads that are never seen because of ad blockers. Then you get a 50% discount because a bot that will never buy anything so the ad rather than a person. I wonder about that. Bots and ad blocks are being an absolute disaster for advertisers as a whole. But maybe you have to understand that maybe the advertisement scheme, current business, is not good. It's not good because, as far as I understand it, they're just throwing maybe not infinite, but almost infinite ads and see if something sticks. Some of these websites, if you try to use them without an ad block, they're pretty much unusable. 60% or more of the websites just ads, and you click anything and you get additional ads as a pop-up. Absolutely horrible, absolutely disgusting. Very much unusable, in my opinion. So, to be fair, ad blocks also are born from a necessity. Anyway, I guess time to get into more of the meat and potatoes for today. It's gonna be thick for a little bit, so bear with me. Let's start. Since we usually start with content creator stuff and we had PewDiePie, how about we get something else here? SM Biker City sex obsessed life. Solicit the nudes, list the best breasts, in a separate laptop for porn. This is not a joke article. This from the New York Post, June 2nd. Finally, mainstream media is just fed up of SM Biker. Isn't that kinda funny? It is kinda funny to me. I didn't expect that to happen. I wonder what's gonna happen with that side of the politics. Are they gonna try to prop up a new content creator? Remains to be seen, but I think it's possible, if not likely. You may be the communist darling of left-wing live streaming, but when the cameras are off, The real handsome biker is shallow and sex-driven. Sources claim. Sex-driven? I mean, that by itself is actually not necessarily bad. We need to see how. I've seen some summaries of this. It's way worse than you think. It's not the guy just being horny, it's this guy being his sex pest. Although he recently debuted a more serious image, donning spectacles and suit for his broadcasts. Which is clear to me. He looks really bad. Some of the suits look absolutely horrible. I think he didn't take kindly to the comparisons between him and Nick Fuentes. Now starts the 34-year-old told the Post. He is still a pervy, porn-obsessed frat boy. Hey, it's... Ah, shit, what was the name of the channel? His old channel, where he was just the dude bro, trying to teach people how to get on with the chicks. And personally saying, get in the way of him ever realizing his goal of making it to the mainstream. I would say this guy is actually pretty mainstream. He has been on TV. Off camera he's very stiff and impersonal, and can tell how much of what he says he actually believes. He definitely leverages it to creep on women. A former pal told the Post. Ah, man, I'll be surprised. This is just peak male feminist. That's really surprising. If I can find quickly here. Not the Young Turks. Not the Young Turks, you piece of shit. It was something tips. I don't think it was broad tips. Maybe it was broad tips. Broad tips. Yep, I think it was broad tips. And the that guy maybe be. Could this guy be just a sex pest? I mean, he could. Right? He could be. Not really surprising if you ask me. Oh god, the archive is a little bit atrocious. But I have a bunch of stuff from the New York Post, and if I have more than just a tab, it just perma reloads all of them, which is really annoying. There's another packer who regularly boasts about receiving nude photos from fans, and how he claims to watch porn on a laptop dedicated to the purpose. Probably on his chest so he can still see his penis. Okay, alright. Just a normal guy, I bet. Piker, who this week was banned from speaking in the UK over his extreme left-wing views, was born in New Jersey but grew up in Istanbul, Turkey, where his parents hail from. This guy is literally an hardcore baby. So, just deport the guy. It's that easy. There's also some allegations, I don't think they're gonna mention them here, that his parents are cousins, which will explain some stuff. So told the Post, the Packer family is wealthy, but aside from a picture for younger Hassan on a horse in full riding gear, which he himself posted, few details of his early life are known. Well, it is known that his family is really wealthy because of their jobs. If you work as a really higher up for a company that moves, was it billions or trillions? At the very least it was billions. That's wealthy. That's really wealthy. That's not normal amount of some money. And some boy, you're not proletariat, as they say. Not surprising. Not surprising. The rich kids love to be communists for some reason. Isn't he grew up? Hold up, am I reading that right? He has said he grew up horny in a repressed culture, and his dad allegedly helped him dodge the mandatory Turkish military draft so he could attend college in the US. What is with these people and just being sex obsessed? It's something I have found to be a commonality. Not just on the internet, because of course in the internet you're gonna see the worst examples of individuals no matter what you do, but I've seen this being the case in real life too. So there has to be some truth to that. And she thing in 2009, Pickett came to Miami where after partying too hard and scoring a dismal grade point average of just 2.9. Maybe it's actually right that this guy has a small head. His mother, old course Deaf Piker, made his transfer to Rutgers, where she herself had studied art history. Interesting. What is this song? What the hell? What a strange mix today. Pincher's Capture, Pokemon Ranger. I think Pokemon Ranger has really good music. What the fuck? Cool. Cool music. Package in the fraternity, of course. Delta Chai. Hope that is correct. And thoroughly embraced the frat boy lifestyle. In 2012, he wrote on Twitter, "The Bible for our senior year. 30 reasons to go for freshman chicks." With a link to a sexually explicit article on totalfratmove.com. He graduated the following year with a degree in political science. A degree in political science, and he's being quote-unquote mugged by the Roachman. Beautiful. You'll have to see it. But the political science... I'm gonna be honest. Every single time I've seen somebody with a degree in political science, a fucking idiot. Also real life too, by the way. How curious. How curious. All of these commonalities. I wonder what they mean. Packer loved the college lifestyle so much that when he moved to Los Angeles to college, he aimed to start the Delta Chai frat house there. However, he instead went to work for his uncle, Cenk Uyghur. I'm assuming you say that's Cenk. I hear that's being said as Cenk, but it could be just Cenk. I have no idea. At the Young Turks, an independent left-wing broadcast network. Oh, but he had to work so hard after college. He had to work so hard. It was so difficult. He was a very modest boy, working for his uncle in news media. Oh, Jesus Christ. Soy facing at the Red Book. This man. Enjoy his first taste of being a Nepa baby. They're going for the throat here. Parker was heavily promoted on the channel and his show The Breakdown became a success, leading to him getting the title of Woke Bay around the network. From there he broadcast his song in 2018, broadcasting daily on Twitch, the streaming channel. I mean, streaming platform would be more correct, I think. Sometimes for up to 12 hours per session. He has since amassed over 3 million followers, making him one of the most popular people on the streaming service. Still getting fucking destroyed by a fucking idiot from Texas. Beautiful. just love to see it. And operating out of a $2.7 million home in Hollywood he bought in 2021. The usual comrade. Parker enjoys a bachelor lifestyle but displays lots of weird behavior. Bachelor lifestyle, wasn't he dating a big streamer? Was not Bucky May, right? It was Valkyrie? I'm gonna be honest, all of those streamers look the same to me. I find it really difficult to properly tell them apart. They're just generic e-girl, okay? How about that? Yeah, I don't think that was working too well for those. He's not trailing against US imperialism, which could be just keeping the laws and shit. Showing his support for China or Cuba, or saying he'd vote for third group Hamas for the Israeli government. Parker solicits news from his female fans. According to streamer he previously worked with, creatures he apparently rebels in showing off to others. Okay, that's a link to a YouTube video. What a disgusting little freak. Sources pointed out instances where Parker had been on stream and exposed explicit pics. Often broadcasting with Kitty Cinderella. She looked on as he opened the current explicit image while broadcasting. On another occasion, he left his phone with the streamer Pokemon while off camera. She also stumbled across explicit content on his phone. I mean, you could just have it hidden, but clearly this guy doesn't care. Yet never missed. What an all-star here. YouTuber Mischief also claimed he had seen hundreds of nudes on the horse phone. That's where the post. As I'm gooning in public. Mischief tells a story of, okay? This is a clip from Twitch. And this is a YouTube video. Okay? Biker did not return the powers required for comment for this article. I mean, for sure. City Biker. That's why he gets so along with the Guru in Chief Dan Clancy. They're all the same. That makes sense. City Biker who claims to have slept with over 300 women. What a fucking whore. What a fucking whore, even if it's actually true. Also, he fully showed off on the nudes he was getting sent on Snapchat as part of an article that got from Politics Magazine 2018. Wow, bro, tips never changed. The article describes his messages are about 70% nudes, and then quotes Spiker as he scrolled through them, saying, "Wow, that's crazy. There was like, I should have belonged to someone, and they were like, talk to anyone of these people. That's other stuff. Cool." It is insane to me how people can just listen to this guy. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be completely honest here. It's not because of the things he says, it's because his inability to speak properly. I am ESL, and I would say I have a better speech skill than this insane individual. It's impossible. It's fucking impossible for me to properly read a transcript of anything this man says. And I know I sometimes end up saying filler words like such as like. I try to avoid that because I think that's not really something you should be doing. I do dislike it a lot, but please understand, I do make mistakes. I will make a lot of mistakes. Once again, I do be ESL, as they say in the hood. I don't think they say that in the hood. Maybe they should. It's insane. It's baffling to me. Look at this. Look at this whole sentence. Wow, it's crazy. They was like, I actually heard blame someone, and they were like, talk to any of these people. This other stuff. Cool. This is the biggest political streamer from the left. Are you fucking kidding me? That tells you all you need to know about the people that watch him. Oh. Yeah, I don't think they're all that smart. I'm gonna be honest. Having Snapchat as a male celebrity is a huge red flag to begin with, noted one source. I mean, having a Snapchat in general doesn't seem to be great. The only things I've really seen from Snapchat are bad memes and whores. Make of that what you will. Noting the app is mainly used by teenagers. Oh, that's even worse. That is even worse. I mean, as long as they use it for memes, it's probably fine. Bikers has also admitted that sending news to other people. To Will Nev, streamer on PAL. Second time they use PAL. I promise I did not write this, okay? This was written by... what's a woman, if I'm not mistaken? Megan Paling. I am not Megan Paling, okay? I just happened to use the word PAL because of PAL World. And by the way, PAL World 1.0 soon, just next month. I think we're gonna play that on update. I'm just not feeling it. Raising concerns over issues of consent. We would need to know more about that. Sure, potentially, I guess. He even joked about keeping a boobs of not list. He said in one stream. That is exposed by meme_morph. Adding the boobs I send. Every now and then I see a pair that's concussion inducing and you'll send it to Will. Wow. Concussion inducing, probably the most impressive speech I've seen from this man. In the video, one of his male companion says, "Add me to that list," while the female deadpans, "Let me know where the list is. Say no, not to look at it." Not even chastising the guy. Not even chastising the guy. But then, the same people will fucking clown on you if you want to see attractive female characters in video games, not even sexualized necessarily, just attractive. Yes, this may be about both, not Blade Runner, that's a movie. Stellar Blade 2? Moonrise? Moonblade? Something like that. And the new God of War. I have a tweet for that later, if we have enough time. I mean, it's a short thing, but still. Biker also previously discussed his penchant for webcam sex in a live stream, saying he keeps his camera off to protect my identity, while getting up and down on the other side of it. Look, I'm gonna be honest. If you wanna do that shit, whatever. It's your life. Do whatever the fuck you want. Why do you have to say it? Why do you have to just parade around your insane sexual proclivities and activities? People don't need to know, but I do find this to be so extremely common on this political side. I wonder why. I wonder why. I guess it has to be one of their political tenets. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. Another source responded to the post in condition of anonymity, simply described accuracy, pathological liar. Well, it doesn't take a genius to understand this, but yes, we have seen this guy lying all the time. He just uses the best words he can to get the best results. I mean, that's just speak lying, right? Recently, there was something similar to this. It was Hassan complaining, you're just being racist because I'm a Muslim American. Okay, first of all, Muslim is not a race. It's being part of a religion. It's the same as if you said, I'm a Christian American. Okay, cool, whatever. That's implying he's brown, because he's Turkish. But he was just saying all the time, but I'm just a white guy. Schrodinger's race, for sure. He will use whichever identity / tag works the best in each occasion, which, yeah, I don't think that's being really truthful or factual. That's really surprising. There was a compilation clip, I remember seeing that on Twitter, this was weeks ago. I don't happen to tap, or even close to it, with him mentioning he was a Muslim American, and having a comparison with just being white. I mean, both are correct, but what he's trying to imply with one of them is not compatible with the other. I mean, these people didn't lie, they couldn't be speaking, as usual. Parker, who appears to be single and still broadcasts around 7 hours a day, appears quite insatiable. They effortlessly describe the night out with him as like going out with a zealot who could only be satiated by intercourse. Holy shit, dude. Wasn't he dating somebody? I swear he was. What's Valkyrie? Okay, there's a... Okay, this is a YouTube video here from Yellow Flash. And some package girls from Valkyrie responds to backlash 7 months ago. There's also a Reddit post from 6 months ago. Rain hasn't split up since manufactured, so I guess he's single now. Potentially. Okay, alright. His pronunciation extends to posting video from the Adult Entertainment HBIC Awards? I don't even know what that is. And having an unofficial relationship with porn star Jens Griffith up until 2020. On previous streams, he's admitted to having sex with prostitutes and visiting a brothel in Germany for sex. That's the video. That's a Twitch clip. The German brothel thing, they were apparently employing minors. Apparently, I'm actually not sure. I've seen the allegations of that. Doesn't seem that this guy was partaking in that. Which, you know what? I'm gonna count that as a W. Not a pedophile. Wow. Not that we know of, at least. Tiger has also strong scrutiny for comments involving this race music mogul. Son Combs, better known as Diddy, is currently in federal prison on prostitution-related charges. Apparently he attended the actual dinner party, which is a bit hilarious to me. I would love to hang in this Sirach? I don't know what that is. Another Sirocco is a type of wind. Once again, thanks to Golden Sun. And Trojan trickled down bang anything thrown his way. Like I did in 2012. I mean 2012. Who knows, right? Proud boy. I don't think this implies that guy's a pedophile. Still, that we know of. Years later, he claimed to have actually attended the after party at Coachella Music Festival, where some real weird little thing featuring a very young girl was allegedly playing on a screen. And you didn't report it, you absolutely fucking lunatic? Guy, just use normal colors, please, I beg of you. Please, I beg of you. Different sayings back his political screens have turned out very lucrative. In front of him, mockery for his lavish, champagne socialist lifestyle. Him against wealth inequality, but lives alongside the influential elite. A link to a payout data, previously showing here more than 2 million from the platform alone, for a 2-year span. Just a worker, man, just a worker. Never was his hypocrisy more prominently on display than when he went on a humanitarian aid flotilla trip to Cuba earlier this year. Quote-unquote humanitarian, it was more propagandistic than anything else. And broadcasted while wearing Cartier designer sunglasses worth around 30 heads of the USD. While back prepares the island and its leadership, the trip itself is said to be under federal scrutiny for potential breaking the US embargo on the island. Yeah, this ass. Doesn't say that's a huge blow to Biker, seeing he's definitely most worried about the legal trouble. Something he admitted to, saying the probe into him and 40 others from the stream was not great, that he is about to be simply made an example of. Good, send him back to India. Ah, he's Turkish! Do I look like I care? Send him back to India. Right now. Just because he deserves it. Ah, you will actually live in a shithole of a country. In addition to being warned about criminal charges, Biker is obsessed with his public image and wants to desperately to be seen and accepted as mainstream, but stuff like this makes it difficult for him, and he knows that, Morsus added. He wants to be seen as a great political commentator like those seen on TV. Internet-wise, he is already the mainstream, so I do think this is a little bit strange. I'm afraid from the internet side, he is way too much of the mainstream from the mainstream media. So, I don't know. I know this guy has been on TV before. I don't think Asmongold has, but I do believe Asmongold has been invited to some sort of event by the Trump administration. I'm not sure. I think I saw that tweet days ago. He's still very careful, a minute train, and this Cuba trip was a mere faux pas, he added. As only being compelled by Pacquiao's visit to speak in the UK being rescinded just before he was due to travel this week. With the government only saying it was on the grounds that his presence in the UK might not be conducive to the public good. I think you're missing a T there. Funny. On his stream Monday, Pacquiao vented his frustrations with the organizers of the event. He was due to speak to compare himself to the communist theorist Karl Marx. Okay, alright, I don't think I will ever do something like that, but yeah, free to do so if you want. He said, I'm doing this as a favor. I think it's great that once the UK Home Office intervened and revoked my visa, they just delivered my speaker page on their site. I mean, yeah, if you cannot participate, you're not a speaker. I think it's correct. England has pledged offered refuge to some of the most controversial thinkers, like Karl Marx. If they consider you worse than Karl Marx, maybe you need a little bit of introspection. My goodness. My goodness. There was another article. I didn't want to bring it up because it was too deep into US politics. Way too much about some stuff I didn't know anything about. But it was New York Post being like, boring obsessed and some bikers just bitching about something that happened in the latest elections. And I was like, holy shit, how the fuck is this real? They're going for the throat, these guys. That's crazy. But I love to see it. What can you say? I love to see it. Is this what they call the Schadenfreude? I think it may be beautiful. But this next thing here is not Schadenfreude. It's righteous justice. It's just pure, unadulterated wrath. First of all, we have these two images here, which we have to mention. First of all, about the Hero Nowak stuff. The image on the left is the real image of Nowak's arrest. The image on the right is an AI edit. Hero's wristwatch morphs into part of a grotesque manacle, and that the act of grabbing him requires Shaniqua nails with long nails, I'm assuming. Wasn't the AI edit makes you look gullible? Use the real one. This is great propaganda, but this is not real, okay? This is the real image, and I don't think it's still more than good enough. If you look at the end, you understand he was at death's door. The fact that the cops didn't realize or didn't bother, it's quite depressing. I'm gonna be honest. However, despite the UK being an insane shithole with always crime, always the police being the worst individuals on site, get fucked big from day one. Get for life with a minimum term of 21 years for the murder of Henry Nowak. Get fucking screwed. It's at destroyed. You get what you fucking deserve. And I know some people will say, what about death penalty? There's no death penalty in the UK. I'm gonna teach you a secret that you may not know. EU countries, and by extension the UK because it's former EU, do not have death penalty. You have to remove the death penalty if you want to join the EU. There was a huge point back in the early 2000s when Turkey wanted to join. They were like, yeah, what about the death penalty? They didn't want to remove the death penalty, which, I'm gonna be real, in some cases, I think the death penalty may be justified. If you want to say, death penalty is too dangerous, because they might actually kill somebody that's innocent, sure, I can agree to that. I'm gonna be honest, I can agree to that. I think it should be maybe reserved for these extremely clear cases. You have video evidence, let's be honest. Or some people that just go on insane killing sprees despite being detained and whatnot, and they just get released and they go on killing sprees again. Or raping sprees, whatever. This shit keeps happening. I'm fine with being jailed for life. However, there's a caveat. I don't think the current system works well. I think we should be working these individuals to the bone. Oh, you're in jail? Yeah, you're not gonna be living at the expenses of the taxpayers' money. You're gonna be living by what you can produce. And if you're so stupid, because in some cases, some of these individuals are extremely useless. If you're so stupid that you cannot even grow crops to sell them, which I don't think that would be a really good idea for prisoners, we're gonna have you mining. At the very least, you will be mining. And I thought this a couple of days ago while I was taking a shower. Taking showers is usually really good for thinking about stuff. In this case, I thought, okay, we must have these individuals working to be kept alive, like normal people, but they're prisoners. How do we do this? And at first I thought, okay, surplus resources they generate go to the state. Immediately realized, okay, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. You're telling the state, oh, you can just get free slaves and benefit from it. Sure, we can get more slaves. That's a bad idea. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I thought it's a pretty interesting system. We have some mock-up numbers here so people understand. Let's say you need to keep yourself alive in jail in a month the equivalent of $1,000, for an example. Okay? What happens if you produce more than that? Sure, we take away the $1,000. What about the 500 that are remaining? Half of them you can keep, because these people will grow old and maybe they need some pocket money when they cannot work as much. Which is fair, which is fair. It's money they have produced, resources they have produced, I'm okay with it. The other half should go to the families. The affected families. It makes sense. Ward them to the bone. No more just staying, especially in some locations like, I think this is especially common in Norway? They have really elegant and luxurious jails. We're not doing that. It should be a punishment. It should be a massive detriment for you if you want to be a criminal. An actual criminal. This is of course not for self-defense. That would be insane. An insane thing to say and do. We're gonna work you to the bone. You want to fuck with society? Well, now you will be useful to society. That being said, there are being more details about this case that, yeah, pretty cookie cutter. Apparently this guy's mother will also be, how do they call it? Not jury, she will be judged in July for, I think, accomplice, which kinda makes sense. I think more members of the family should also be judged as accomplices, but justice is extremely slow, so it's not really surprising. We have here from Truth Trencher X. Oh, X, how curious. Vikram's ex-classmate speaks out. The death of Henry was coming from pure hate. We don't know very well that Henry wasn't even a troublesome character. He was most likely not even aware of how much it provoked Vikram that he filmed him carrying his weapons around like kids carrying their toys. If it's the UK, but can you carry weapons? I've seen some people saying, but you know what? They should also ban the gear ban, they should ban the ceremonial weapons. I actually disagree. I think everybody should be able to just use weapons. It's only fair, self-defense. Why not? Seems correct to me. Can't change the name of this track, sadly. Doesn't appear as a chapter, a bit annoying. I honestly don't know how I would have reacted if I seen a guy walking around with swords as if it's the most normal thing in the world. My moral system would have struggled a lot to accept the fact that it wasn't even illegal to walk around like that. But for these people, no, it isn't. It's just common sense that departments allow suspicious and mentally ill people to carry weapons around to scare society. Then sooner or later horrible things must happen. Hey! If the horrible things happening right now, they have been happening for more than a decade. Are you blind? You could be. In this screenshot, his classmate of Vikram talks in detail about how horrified Vikram's classmates were every single day in school with him in class. He was bringing all kinds of weapons into school every single day, and I'm pretty sure that goes against code of conduct in all of the schools. For crying out loud, you couldn't even have your entertainment devices out, even. Tattoos, his knives, and brass knuckles. He even used the taser his mates as quote-unquote banter. He acted violently. As banter? Are you fucking kidding me? That's insane. Even if you were to say, okay, ceremonial knives, sure, brass knuckles, I know are banned. Tasers, I know are also banned. He was already a criminal before he stabbed anybody. By UK law. Moralistically speaking, I think it's wrong to have and carry weapons if you want to protect yourself. But the law says otherwise in the UK. Which kinda pisses me off, but what can you do? When the teacher left the room, he threw chairs literally across the room with no care for who was in the way. He stapled a suspected mate's arm in class. That's wild! How was this individual not reported? Because he's some sort of Indian Sikh? It's the UK, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. He chose random people with gun passes to get a reaction out of them. You know, I'm gonna be honest. This guy was looking for somebody to break his face in, okay? If you're attacking somebody like this, if they defend themselves, it's more than justified. What are you doing? Those are literally insane attacks on classmates. It's crazy. They were probably scared of this guy. I'm gonna be honest. He has all sorts of weapons, he's really violent and whatnot. I'm not trying to chastise them or anything. But are you gonna tell me nobody thought of just counter-attacking? Seems strange to me, but it is the UK. And no one ever tried to stop him from acting this way. And you, Mr. Stormer, still want to allow mentally ill people like this to keep carrying their weapons around. Even bringing them to school to torture others like Vikram, even torture his own classmates. If you still insist that weapons with a religious background need to keep being legalized, which he already did, then you're personally responsible for each new case occurring where even little kids get tortured and harassed by selling these kinds of people, those kinds of weapons. It doesn't help to look away. This is only the tip of the iceberg. And you have the post here, which is Reddit, so massive grain of salt, of course. 18 hours ago, this guy was in my year at school, and was in my tutor group for the whole of secondary school. He has the same look in his eyes in this mugshot as every time I looked at him in school. The kind of guy you look at the wrong way and he'd get you in a headlock. He brought weapons into school just to show off. He used his knives, and I probably saw the one he used for this murder, which probably correct if this actually happened. Brass knuckles. He actually used the taser on his mates to banter. He was a loose screw. I think you mean he had a loose screw, but maybe both are correct. When the teacher left the room, he threw chairs literally across the room with no care for who was in the way. Stable my suspected mates arm him in class. There are random people with gun passes to get a reaction out of him. I wasn't shocked in the slightest when seeing the headline for the first time. I'm gonna be honest, never been to the UK, but I think we all know people from school that you expect to see in this kind of situation, for better or for worse. These insane loose cannons are usually, well, maybe not usually, but it's not really uncommon for them to be violent. Violent and dangerous. They call me aggressive, but I would never do shit like this, man. Finally getting what he deserves, but at the cost of her Novak. Rip. Sounds like an excellent night job, shouldn't have access to any weapons. I agree, not because it is the UK, but because this man is absolutely insane. Not too long, to legally owned guns in Britain, you had to be assessed by a doctor when you had to carry these little weapons. It's worth turban. They're good and bad in all races, but why do some get a free pass? Honestly, it's sent for a level playing field. I'm seeing a lot of talk around the religious exceptions and whatnot. I don't think it should be a religious exception in general. I think you should just be able to carry weapons as your God-given right. God, I love being American. Never been to the US. I'm just a spiritual American sometimes. However, if you want to go with the argument of religion, it actually makes more sense for Christians to wield swords than for these Sikhs from outside of the country to use daggers. Funny enough. Some people have mentioned that this idea that the Sikhs had to carry around a knife to protect the weak, which, of course, really ironic with this whole situation, came to be in the 1600s, if I'm not mistaken. So people have been going through history a little bit. I don't know too much about some of these Christian events, sadly. But some people said, okay, but what about this, I think it was some sort of edict? Maybe it wasn't. From 1052, I believe? The current pope, which I don't remember the name, it's like a strange name to me. Maybe we can look that up. 52 pope. I think I have the right here. Leo the 9th. I think that is correct. It was not this year then. But it was in the 1000s. But that sounds sort of strange. Mentioning that, yes, getting Christians to wield swords to protect Christianity. Kind of funny. And of course, people going back to the Bible. saying, "Oh, but Jesus literally said that you have to sell your cloak and buy a sword. After all, if you're a Christian, you understand that you're not immortal. You can come back from the dead. That's only a Jesus thing." And I'm gonna be honest, I think it's justified. I think it is justified. I got shunned. I saw that on Twitter, but even my mother showed it to me. What does it say here? It was an English article. Once again, something we covered here. That guy from Christmas 2024, I believe. British guy. They got in jail because he was carrying around a tiny replica of the Master Sword from Zelda games. If you run around with a knife, a 21 centimeter slash 8-inch knife to stab people with, it's just a cool guy. Absolutely disgusting. What else I have here? What is this again? Oh yeah, the video stuff. I think this is about. Revealed. Dick from Day 100 changed film hero Noah after stabbing him. Told police no one was racist aggressor. Watchdog finds officers did nothing wrong. Surely not. There's also a really interesting detail about all of this, because they mentioned the 999 call, which is, I'm assuming, the emergency number in the UK. These people, the Digwa family, called 999 and said they apprehended this guy. He was being really violent and really racist, especially racist, against brown people. How could he? But he was not stabbed. But allegedly, there were several calls from neighbors to the same number saying that somebody had been stabbed. So they ignored those? I believe the family? It is really strange. It is really strange, but as we'll see, it has an explanation. Not a good one, but a pretty obvious one, sadly. As part of our ongoing investigation, we're reviewing a large amount of police body-worn footage, which we need to consider in context with other evidence we have obtained. Per what? That blinked a little bit. In Police Watchdog, he said there's no evidence of misconduct by officers who arrested Herbert Nowak, the teenage stabbing victim from the UK, is late dying, giving us new details to mention about the moments leading up to his death in December 2025. Independent Officer of Police Conduct, IOBC, is reviewing body-worn camera footage, another material involved in the death of Nowak, who was stabbed 5 times, and incident involving Vikram Digwa, reports the Telegraph. 5 times! So we know he was at least stabbed once in the chest, at least once in the groin, and at least twice in the back of the legs. I'm missing a stabbing here. I'm not quite sure where could it be. But if you're being stabbed twice in the back of the legs, it's not self-defense. That person is running away. What happened there, big guy? Derek Campbell, the reader of the IOPC, said, "We acknowledge that this case has raised questions about the actions of the attending officers, and we are aware that a few minutes of police body-worn footage has been issued with the force following the conclusion of criminal proceedings." I'm gonna be honest. With the dangerous and the late arrival of the police, because they took their time to actually call for the police. Here what was that? They couldn't save Henry. But it was not about saving Henry. It was about not even trying. I cannot breathe. I have been stabbed. And the guy was not even moving. He was in extreme pain and he was pretty much dead at that point. The response? I don't think you have, mate. I don't think you have. The fuck do you mean you don't think so? You have to check. You're the fucking police, dude. What are you doing? Female officer that was also in the game said, well, we should check, right? Which, correct, you should check. I don't think she's evil. Only the guy that was actually handcuffing Henry, I would consider to be evil, in detriment to the entire country. And he went on his way, even despite the woman just looking at his eyes, the eyes did not react. The kid died right there and he was just relaying the rights to a fucking corpse. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? That is the problem. We understand with such an injury, he was dead. At that point, he was already dead. Even if they arrived with an ambulance, maybe something could have been done. With just the police, he was dead. But they didn't even try. They didn't even want to try because they thought the kid was evil. Why? Because the kid was white and the other kids, or the other individuals, were brown. Oh, the racism. And that is the next thing we have. I don't want to spoil too much. For the ongoing investigation, we're reviewing a large amount of police body-worn footage, which we needed to consider in context with other evidence we have obtained. Include review material presented during the murder trial and establish the full circumstances. Okay, let me close this. Campbell also said investigators are due to meet the victim's family in the coming days. Which, speaking of which, the family has been saying, oh, this is not about race, this is not this and that, this is just knife crime. We don't want people to make this into a race issue. This is a race issue. And it's clearly a race issue. If they just handcuff your dying son because he's fucking white, and apparently, oh, he was being racist. He was dying. But, despite not being true, just the accusation of taking the turban off a sick individual, very sick individual in this case, and throwing pejorative adjectives is way worse than being stabbed. Insanity. True insanity. Luckily they did not get the whole family with their special squad of you will say the right thing or we're gonna get your ass. The godmother, I think, was very outspoken and critical about the fucking police, as it should be the case. Body-worn footage released after public and political pressure shows no one telling officers he cannot breathe. Multiple times as he lies on the ground. His thing and handcuffed while appearing unresponsive, before later falling unconscious, or just dying at the spot. As apparently that was the case. Well, I've seen people mentioning that. I don't know where the information comes from. I could be wrong here, to be honest. A police source told reporters the decision to handcuff the injured teenager, who was not resisting, was inexplicable. Yeah, especially because he was not resisting. He couldn't resist because he was dying. It is insane to me. They were jailed for life with a minimum term of 21 years. Age, shit or die, baby! And falsely claimed that Noah was the aggressor and had ritually abused him on the night of December 3rd, 2025. His brother, Gurpreet, isn't this a TTRPG system? I think that's just GURPS. Contacted 999 relaying that allegation. Gurpreet has not been charged. We don't know the circumstances. So, I do believe the brother might have been filming some stuff. So, I think there's room for him to be considered an accomplice. But we'll see. Need to blow my nose. Give me a second here. Get into passionate. It's been raining recently, so everything is a little bit more humid, so it gets sniffly easier. In reality, they were stabbed Novak multiple times with an 8-inch knife. And apparently it's not even the kirpan, the curved dagger, the 6 years. It's apparently some sort of Afghan knife made to just stab, which makes sense in this case. Separate footage and witness accounts showed Digby filming and taunting Novak after the attack. Digby started saying, You're not going to get away with this, big man." Not the best with accents, but I will try. Novak can later be heard saying, "I'm dying." And Digby responding, "You're not dying, bro." He also says, "You stunned me." To which Digby replied, "No, I didn't." And, "What occurred to me? Thinking you're sick." Well, I do agree there's a sick individual here. But it was not Harry. Just William Masley, KC said, "You continue to make films of Henry suffering, ignoring much of his desperation and having been stabbed. You told him that had not happened. You had to convince others who were nearby." Ooh. Holy shit, somebody with balls in the UK? Fucking finally, you'll love to see it. Because Diego filmed Nowak for around 5 minutes while he lay injured and did not call an ambulance. These clips were not played in court due to being described as too disturbing. Nah, fuck that. That's lame and gay. Ah, but it's Pride Month. That's lame and gay. Too disturbing? No. This is justice. This is an actual court. I don't care if you want to say they're too disturbing. You need to see the facts of the matter. It's too disturbing. Maybe you shouldn't be there. Practicing law. I'm sorry. I don't think practicing law is all sunshine or rainbows either. It's pretty fucked up stuff, I'm gonna be honest. And that's it. Eat shit and die, baby. Eat shit and die. Just send them back. Just fucking send them back. If you're not going to work them to the bone, send them back. It's that easy. And, of course, why did the officers want to just handcuff the white boy? Well, it's the pretty obvious from the Times. Officers from force behind Henry Walker arrest pressured by diversity gurus. But I thought this bullshit didn't happen. I've been told for years by these insane individuals that these diversity courses weren't even a thing. It was just they were fair. Where's the fucking fairness here? Where's the fucking fairness? The staff survey found 1 in 7 felt control to feel certain ways. But mandatory training, as a minister admits, equality guidance is slightly clumsy. Slightly? Slightly clumsy? I cannot. Yeah, I cannot mark the test. Slightly? Oops, I made a mistake. People are dying, Margaret. What the fuck do you mean slightly clumsy? Holy shit, dude. What's wrong with these people? The best quality guidance is slightly clumsy, and ministers admitted. After the mesh officers in the force responsible for the arrest of Henry Nowak felt controlled and pressured to feel certain ways by mandatory diversity training. But I thought this was not a thing. I thought it was good for the sake of everybody being finally treated the same. And you know what happens? Brown more correct. White just means you're able. What did you do? I didn't do anything. What did you do? You got us out? That's probably your fault. You're also going to jail. Insanity. The court of Dodd, Hampshire, and Isle of Wight, constabulary officers and staff about racism, unconscious bias, and privilege and the importance of being an ally. Of being an ally to whomst? Evil forces of the universe? No, you fucking idiot. I hate this, and I've hated this my whole fucking life. It's not even hyperbolic. I just hate this with a burning passion. I'm sorry. I hate how the concept of justice has been corrupted to this extent. It's not the actual victims that are being protected by, in this case, police. It's people that are seen as, well, you know, unprivileged. Maybe people that are weak in society. I don't fucking care that you're considered weak. If you're running around stabbing people with knives, you're a criminal. What are you saying? What are you doing? It's fucking insanity. A total inversion of justice and reality. I'm fucking sick of this, dude. Police. Fucking horrible. I also hate this thing of allyship. Oh, you had to be a good ally. What about I don't wanna? Huh? Fuck you. I know I don't work for the government, but still. A staff survey found that 1 in 7 officers and staff, 15%, had felt control and pressure to adopt certain ideas in the sessions, and the same number thought mistakes would have been held against me. A fifth said they were feared being rejected for saying the wrong thing. But I thought this didn't happen. Then again, when they tell you all about diversity and equality, and especially when they talk to you about the unconscious bias, that's just deconstruction. And deconstruction is just a fancy name, and it just actually means destruction. They would want to just completely destroy the concept of society and whatever respect and I'm gonna, I don't think it's the best word for this, but I'm gonna say love for your fellow humankind, your fellow citizens, or your fellow British people in this case. So that way you will not defend them, and you will consider they are the bad guys by default. That's a Rigby. The Chief Secretary to the Treasury said the wording guidance around diversity and equality was slightly clumsy. Oh, it's a woman! How am I not surprised? She told Times Radio there's been an acceptance on behalf of ministers in the Home Office that some of the language in that guidance may well be slightly clumsy. There's a desire, for very obvious reasons, to look at that. I do have desire for you to shut up and just leave the government. Yeah, that equality should come before the law as a fundamental British value. Where's the fucking equality here? What is the fucking equality here? She said, the law needs to apply equally to everyone. But it's not happening. You're doing the opposite. You see, the law apparently just benefits white people. It's not that benefits white people. It's that non-white people tend to be overrepresented as criminals. Not because racism, but because they usually commit more crimes. Whoops! How did that happen? Well, if you keep importing people from, I don't know, India, shithole, the Middle East, shitholes, Sub-Saharan Africa, shitholes, people that refuse to adapt to your laws, they will break the laws and they will be criminals. That is not racism. But these people are not enforcing their laws. Well, you see, they're too stupid to understand that what they're doing is wrong. Why do you keep them in the country? It's been happening for years already, especially in places like the UK. What are you fucking doing here? Are you insane? I just think they're more evil than insane, but they could be related. So I guess the point that follows from that. So where that's not happening, that is to happen. And what about Harry? Do you think the law was being applied equally to this guy? Yeah, I don't think so. The revelations are likely to provoke fresh questions about the role of equality and diversity guidelines in the actions of police officers, as the video that showed officers in the same force handcuffing Novak, 18, for alleged racial abuse while he lay dying from stab wounds. At this point in time, if you're the police and you arrive at this location, you have two people accusing the other one. One people is being accused of being racist, and the other one is being accused of being an actual aggressor that stabbed you. Why do you prioritize the racism accusations? But I was told this was not happening. On Wednesday, the chief constable of the force issued an apology for the actions of his officers, but denied allegations of two-tier policing. Shut the fuck up, you slimy bitch! It's not allegations, it's pretty obviously what's happening, when every single time the worst criminals from outer space get all of the benefits, and the victims, because they're actual victims, get fucking screwed, legally and royally. You know what you're gonna get with this? Vigilante justice. Congratulations! Congratulations. It's a self-inflicted problem. Alex Spoon said, I was thrilled there's a tragedy, an absolute tragedy, and you can help but be affected by it. Yeah, you can also help but wonder what the fuck is going on. I'm clearly sorry for handcuffing and arresting Henry, but I don't know if that is getting through for people. I understand it and are genuinely sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. we're valuing more the racism allegations from an insane individual that was just carrying around all sorts of weapons all the time, instead of the guy that was saying he was being stabbed. Despite us having several phone calls to the 999 saying somebody has been stabbed in this location. But then again, these people also called saying, nah, nobody has been stabbed. We just have a guy that's being, and this is just being insanely racist against us. Priorities. Completely backwards. Hillary concerns expressed by no one's parents that their son had died with dignity, but said, I understand the term of two-tier policing and recognized it. But I don't care if you recognize it or not, that's literally what happened. And Jefferson and staff out there, day in, day out, working incredibly hard to deliver for all our communities. All? What about Henry? Too white? Ah, shame. I just don't recognize the concept. Shut up, dude. This is not working anymore. People are too tired. Hey, how you doing, bastard? We're running some heavy stuff today. Some updates on the Henry Novak murder case. We have some serious news this time around. But I think in general, justice is being served cold and sweet, which is the only thing we can ask, really. It's fucking stupid to loan knives on people even if it's religious. I'm gonna be honest, I think it's the opposite. Everybody should be able to run around with knives and weapons for self-protection. Should replace them with plastic toys. I don't know about that. To be fair, I don't know if you are following this or not. You already have that in the UK. I mean, I already mentioned, right, how that guy got into jail because he had on him a Master Sword replica. Tiny Master Sword replica. I don't think you can kill somebody with that one, but who knows. Then again, the knife that was used, it was not actually the religious knife. It was a different knife. Because if you see the images, it's not a curved knife, it's a straight knife for stabbing. Some people say it's African origin, but I actually don't know. So the savages that want it in the first place, and secondly feel threatened enough to use it to unarmed people. I mean, they had to carry the weapon around to protect the weak, right? I just think swords are cool, and I just want to carry a sword around. Oh, look at me, I have a 21cm knife! You call that a knife? Yeah, this is a knife! Great sword. Is it actually a good knife? Each you don't need both hands. 2 grippets. Balls and girth. We're still talking about swords, right? Maybe we're not. Some of the things that they mention about this individual guy are just insane. Collection of weapons, even tasers and brass knuckles. Abusing his classmates. Insane. Physical abusing, not sexually. Well, sexually wouldn't know, I don't think so. The interpreting thing with sex is explicitly for self-defense, but Sikhism doesn't answer the question. What if the followers are retarded? Well, that's a common question, right? What if people are retarded? Well, you get current society. At the same time, you could also apply that to Christians, right? Didn't Jesus say to send your cloak and buy a sword? I don't have a cloak, but I could potentially buy a sword. For some people just civilized and don't need knives in the society. I think that's wishful thinking. That was the case in Europe 20 years ago. But you will always have bad people, you will always have evil people, you will always have people with maybe mental problems. You will always have criminals, that's my point. So being able to protect yourself is not bad. I kinda dislike how people say, but you don't need the Second Amendment in the US. Oh, why don't you need those guns? What are you, going around and killing people? No, killing people is already bad, and it's already illegal. That's why you don't see normal people running around killing other people. Normal people, at least. But you will see criminals no matter what you do, because crime has always been a thing. This way you can try and protect yourself. I mean, if there's a cancer in the body, you need to kill the cancer, and not let everything else become cancerous and civilized. I guess that is true. I guess that is true. We can have both, right? You can still get rid of these insane individuals from outer space, but I do still believe that you should be able to protect yourself with a weapon. It should be a choice that you can make at least. Not because you're surrounded by a horde of who knows what, but because something bad might happen. It also surprises me how the Stark feminists are against the Second Amendment. When they claim you live in a rape society, well, if you want to avoid rape, shouldn't you want a weapon to shot the guy that's trying to rape you? Might not work, but you can try. I think it's a good attempt. The thing is, yes, there's plenty of gun deaths, and center otherwise is by deviants to lead to plenty of gun deaths on an annual basis. I haven't looked deeper into the numbers, but I think the main problem with guns in the US is suicide. I mean, if you're gonna kill yourself no matter what you do. But using a gun is probably useful. And then the second thing is just gang violence. So, yes, I agree, you should also get rid of the gangs. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't protect yourself. Because, at least in the US, not so much in Europe, but you have some very dangerous wild animals, actual animals, okay? I'm not trying to be cheeky with my wording. And you see a gigantic boar running towards you because you live in, I don't know, a strange location to the rural part of Texas. Ah, shit, that's gonna fuck you up. These may be safe in some sense to the guns, but there's a lot of more deaths in a supposedly civilized society. Also, weapons enable aggressors rather than they enable others. I guess so, but we always have the problem with actual criminals. The criminals will not care that the weapons are banned. They're gonna commit crimes anyway. Oh, look at me! I cannot bring my weapon in here despite the weapon being illegal because this is a no-gun zone. That means nobody has guns. That means I have the gun. That means I win. I think it's a complex situation. It's delving deeply into the minds of mankind. I think it's fundamentally more unsafe because of gun laws, making it a real debate when it doesn't have to be, as compared to everything other country in the world. Controlling EU is basically the savages they imported and failed to check sufficiently. Well, not that they don't check, it's that they allow them to stay. If you look at the numbers about gun violence in the US, you will see that gun violence from white people is actually much lower per capita than in other places that allow guns. In Europe, for example, like, I think Finland. Funny how that works. Funny how that works. Of course, if we're talking about justice, yes, you need to get rid of the criminals, no matter what you do. And bad things will always happen. I just like swords, what can you say? Is it really wrong of me? Want to run around in full plate and a gigantic sword? I'm not out to kill people. But if somebody is in danger, I could protect them. Or protect myself. Well, it'd be funny if somebody tried to attack me while being in heavy plates, wielding a massive weapon. But you never know. Yes, and the US are heavily lobbied for because it's a profitable industry. I guess you also have the thing with the 3D printers. They're trying to check them law-wise, but there's a problem. The technology exists. You cannot de-invent 3D printers, so that's a potential big problem. I mean, what do you want? Defense to get into your home and check if you have guns? Yeah, I don't think that's a great idea either. I'm gonna be honest. But still, too much wrong with it, and I can't support it. When my life is we're ruling it to enable law enforcement to not allow savages to go around killing people. I think we can all agree to that at least. Japan, Korea, or Japan. They are very different societies from the West. But I don't think they're bad societies, necessarily. Of course they have their flaws. But you see Japan being, as some people say, especially on Twitter with this cultural exchange, the only first world country. But I don't think it's because of the weapons. I think there's something else. Though, maybe there's something about the weapons too. I don't know a bit about Japan's history. Do you know about the practice of tsujigiri back in the day, or kirisategomen? Yeah, just people slashing. I say people, but it should have been mostly samurai slashing for some sort of privilege. Sometimes maybe justified, but yeah, but maybe the punishment is way too powerful. Then again, we cannot force the EU or the US. They have the same culture as Japan because the countries are very different. Then again, some of these situations would be avoided completely, despite having more or less draconian weapon laws, if they just actually enforce laws against criminals, which they don't usually do. It's not entirely the story. Weapons are a crucial part of the story. Makes the difference between injury and death. Subjects who intend to harm have the benefits of first strike. Yeah, that is true. That is also true. I had to admit I've been thinking of some of this stuff about these criminals in recent times, and at the end of the day, there's only a possible answer, and that is we cannot live with these people. We cannot just live with these people. If we're talking about the US, I don't think they can live with those people either. But those people would be a different group, and I will be singing as racist. Not necessarily wrong, but how can you say this? Well, if the overwhelming majority of... how to say this? Weapon attacks, unprompted weapon attacks, always belong to a specific demographic. You have a demographic problem, not anything else. Then again, the West is obsessed with, how do they call this? Blank slatism, I think it's the term. See, if you just bring them in, they will adapt. They will just be the same, because everything is about culture. There's some important parts about human development that belong to the realm of genetics, but we're not supposed to say anything like that, because it's seen as evil, because it can push you to through some paths that may be seen way too brutal, like eugenics. I'm not saying we need to exterminate people. I'm just saying we cannot live in the same society, which demonstrably is true. And one thing though, even the immigration has been immense, particularly with UK importing most of South Africans, also Indians. Allowing weapons to be used by everyone can be protective, but that's all I can say to support it. I mean, context-wise, yes, of course. That's why I think you see a lot of people pushing for more laws in general that are similar in spirit to the American Second Amendment. Okay, if these people can use knives, why can't I? Why can't I protect myself with knives if the knife crime is so big of a problem? It makes sense. It makes sense. It's one way of trying to protect yourself if the government actually doesn't protect yourself, doesn't protect you, or the people that should be protected, but it's trying to close a big wound with nothing more than a band-aid in some cases. Not necessarily a bad idea. In the deadliest of the bunch, very good with sex, who are religiously supposed to carry around a dangerous knife. It's actually not correct. Their religious duty to carry a knife can be fulfilled by a very small, I think it's 2-inch badge-looking thing that looks like the knife. The badge they usually have on the turban can also be on the clothes. Doesn't have to be an actual weapon, which is kind of funny. I've also seen a lot of defense for the Sikhs, but the Sikhs are usually the cool guys. See, they're not a big problem. They're fine. And suddenly you see a lot of cases of, oh yeah, insane violence perpetrated by Sikhs, insane rapes perpetrated by Sikhs. I'm curious. And I have to admit that Tommy Robinson, the man that brought to light the Pakistani rape gangs and ended up in jail twice because of it, was also supporting Sikhs. Very annoying to say the least. Let's keep reading this for a little bit. So Broadcast armor also rejected claims of two-tier policing and accused Nigel Farage of splitting Novak's model to create grievance and division. After the Reform UK later called for the public to respond with pure cold rage. Yeah. Just trying to flee forward. Very disgusting. It may be dangerous, but the name itself is called a conjar. I haven't seen that name before, I don't think. It's not worn explicitly, but it's tucked around under the shirt and hangs around the shoulder in a band. Same one, and that shit can kill, I can confirm. Okay, let's print that up. I find out how to write it. For completion's sake. Oh, I've seen this weapon. I didn't know it had this name. Let's see. Yeah, that's an actual weapon. That is an actual weapon. Let's bring out the Wikipedia. Let me hide this and let me print this up real fast. Supposedly this is what the guy used. I've seen some allegations that he was actually using an Afghan weapon meant to stab, because these daggers are usually curved, so slicing weapons. I'm not quite sure, I'm not really that knowledgeable about those types of weapons. Here we have the Wikipedia page. Traditional dagger originated from the Sultanate of Oman, worn by men for ceremonial occasions. It's a short curved blade, shielded the letter J, and resembles a hook. Carrying a mighty weapon. Official emblem of Oman. Also in the bills. Don't remember the name they mentioned for the Afghan blade. I guess I can just look it up too. Okay, I keep seeing different weapons here. What if I go into images? It's this one. From the BBC. The big black channel. Okay, I can just bring up the image you help. They just call it a knife. It looks rather different. Fucking WebP, of course it is. Okay. This is the weapon used. This article doesn't say anything about Sikhism. The Indian guy saw the conjure himself or the one he wore. Interesting. It is the father on the handle. Well, yeah, it looks really weird. But you can see real different. A straight blade, obviously for stabbing. So it might have been something with a similar name. Not a shamshir, that's a blade. A kanda, not a kanda, that's also a straight blade. Can be as curved. Durangi? No. Shuttle's also very curved. Yeah, I don't think it appears in the interrelated weapons here. Let me get the name. Okay. In the meantime, we're gonna keep reading this. And we can look up the weapon, if need be. Look up information about it. Fresh did not distance himself from the remarking interview with Thames Radio. He warned that the violence that erupted in Southampton on Thursday night after an impromptu protest led by the alt-right activist Tommy Robinson took it worse unless the government stepped in to end this divisive practice of two-tier policing. As it was actually led by Tommy Robinson, but then the same Tommy Robinson is trying to protect the sex. It seems a little bit strange. Kanda, you say? That could be. I'm sure it begins with a K. These were 5 religious tools in the body, all of which begin with K. Interesting. Kanda, I don't think it's here. Kanda, it's here actually. It's a double-edged straight sword originating from the Indian subcontinent. The Rajput warrior class variant of the Kanda is a weapon of great prestige. Definitely to be the case. Seems like an Indian saber. Double-edged sword. Yeah, pretty much it. Kandayat maybe? Nah, it's the Malaysia. Totally incorrect. Whoops. All these names kinda look the same to me too. I think making mistakes is pretty normal. Former K leader said he used the term cold rage very deliberately, adding, "Was I angry watching what had happened? Yeah, I bet you were too." Millions of us were. In fact, it's hard to be a human being and not be angry watching it. But I suggested that rage was put in a cold way, not a hot way. Yeah, Kirpan. The Kirpan is the weapon for sure, yeah. Yeah. This thing here. Yeah, that shit is not just a tiny little. Whoop, it's an actual weapon, but as we can see, it's not the same weapon as the one used against Harry. So people are putting to question if this Digva family are actually sick or not. Well, they don't know about the sickism, but they're pretty sick in the head, clearly. Oh, that was a nice, quick stretch. It's hard to be a human being and not be angry watching it, but I suggest that this rage was put in a cold way, not a hot way. As whether there was a risk that he was inflaming the Candace division that Novak's father had warned against. Price said, "The division will get far worse. What you saw in Southampton last night is the beginning. I've seen some of the riots. It's looking a little bit spicy. We got large numbers of young white males who think the police are prejudiced against them. Goodness knows where we go. This has to end." And it's not something they think, it's something you can see. Because this article, in the very beginning, already tells you they have been pressured by diversity courses to think, you must have the correct ideas, you must be an ally, you must remove your unconscious bias. All those things they tell you they don't happen, but keep happening. It's time to stop. I think this may be actually a turning point for the UK. A positive one, at least. I hope that's the case, because I want to see positive changes in the West in general. And see if the other countries are like, "Oh, geez, that could be us, finally! Something good!" But it remains to be seen. However, Stormer said it was unforgivable for us to go against the plea from Mark Nawang that his son's mother not to be used to create further hatred, division, or tension as the leaders clash at Prime Minister questions. It is believed that the UK has some sort of police division to talk to the family of people that have been killed in such situations, just to try and deflect and not make everything about the race when it's actually clearly about the race. And despite the religion, lol, he's a tidbit supporting why you feel that way. Apparently, according to the religious leader, they were asked to grow hair mainly to keep warm in the Manchester battles, etc. Fast forward to today, there's no first combat, but they continue. Hold up. I'm scrolling here on my side and it lost that. But they continue to grow their hair out and wear it in a turban because of religious duty. No other reason. I mean, religious mandates are usually really strange, no matter what you do, no matter the religion. I see long-haired individual. I feel attacked at this point. Are you being racist against my people? Of course not, but yeah, I don't have insane hair, it's just normal long hair, as you can see. Nothing that insane. Not only monks, every single guy does this, yeah. I've seen them, some of them have really immense turbans. One can only wonder the amount of hair they have there, gotta be honest. When we talk about religion, we have to understand that in the West, Christianity has been reformed and is far more relaxed and also lax in general with many things. This cannot be said of most religions, especially not the ones that are being imported in the West. Especially Islam, but as we can see, also Sikhism. Once again, blank slatism, not a good idea. They will not just adapt. They will come here, and they will see you're weak, and you allow them whatever the fuck they want to do, and they will keep doing it. Starmer, visibly angry, condemned the disgraceful and completely unacceptable sense of violence that broke out after a large group of people attacked police officers close to where Novak was murdered. That's gonna happen. there's a good reason for this, and you hit an important point. I'm not necessarily against religion, but not every religion is the same. Cannot tell you if there might be better and worse religions, because that could get me banned. But you know. The religion of peace. It's really funny. It's really funny. Since you mentioned the Sikhs wearing hair for protection. Apparently Muslims do something similar, but just so they don't look as feminine, not to arouse other males. Make of that what you will. Happy Pride, everybody! Prime Minister appears to blame Farage for stirring up anger, saying, "This is time for serious work, not rage. There was no justification for more violence and disorder." Sure about that, pal. Holy shit, this is getting long. But I think this is really interesting still. He said, "I do not believe there's two-tier policy in this country. I'm really shocked that he pretends to have respect for Henry's family, and then he acts in this way. The agreement family. What a fucking liar. I could bring up several cases that I have covered in stream, where this is blatantly untrue. Oh, well, you see, these poor people from outer space, they cannot adapt, they don't speak the language. They just cannot fathom that raping women is bad." That's quite literally two-tier policy. I might not be the best with law, but I'm gonna be honest. I do think the Romans were pretty correct when they said, "Yeah, you not knowing the laws doesn't mean you're exempt of following them to jail or back home, I don't care." But in some cases where religions intend to hurt people in tough survival/war conditions, and were intimately shaped by the nature of aggression. I could probably say the same thing of Christianity way back in the day, at least. But it's been reformed, so not anymore, obviously. The same is true necessarily of Christianity and Hinduism, for example, which were traditionally peaceful and relatively stable societies in their origin. Ah, that is true. That is true. Despite having crusades and whatnot, Christians want to stand by gospel, not by force, which is probably the biggest difference with Islam. For Africans, they continue to be in survival mode, by and large, due to incompetent and corrupt leadership even today. I've seen some stuff about Africa, and it is absolutely bonkers to me. It's not so much that they have incompetent and corrupt leadership, which it is still true, but it's not even the main issue with them. In some of these places, when you see, but we have to spend so much money on Africa, yeah, it's useless. They don't have technological advances because they don't need them. Because in some of those places, we have so much greenery, so much fruit, so many natural resources. They don't need to bother with farming. It's just a chore for them. So they will sell whatever you give them for a quick buck, and they will buy a car. Who cares? There's also something really interesting about the philosophy of the sub-Saharan Africans. Just without context, or even with context, people will think I'm insanely racist. I did not say this. I did not say this. The moment people spend infrastructure in Africa, these are looted by the people and sold off in informal markets. I've seen many clips. I thought that Mr. Beast putting whales and whatnot was just a fool's errand. But in nice PR stunt, I suppose. Allegedly, the sub-Saharan Africans don't have a concept of time, a concept of future. Therefore, I'm assuming this may come from a single season kind of location. They don't need to prepare for winter, for example, and they don't understand, to a broad extent, their actions have consequences. So when you see people being like, but he didn't do anything, he just stabbed somebody, it's because the person in the past is completely detached from the person 30 seconds later. It sounds insane, but I've seen several philosophers talking about this. This appears to be actual African philosophy. And I guess I can agree to that sentiment to some extent, because of what we have seen in Africa and other places with Africans. We shouldn't need to be constantly Undertales. You have to improve. You have to advance. You have to be like us. If they don't want to be like us, let them be. Let them be. Worry about yourself first. You cannot save everybody, especially when the West is a very tiny minority in the entire world. That's kind of funny. And they hate white people, and they want to destroy the West. Oh, finally, we're taking revenge on Whitey. Oh, you people are gonna get destroyed by the Chinese. They don't fucking care. They will see you, and they will be like, yeah, you're gonna be working in the mines. Why? Because I said so. You're gonna be slaves again. Oh, brother. And then again, unable to see the future. Not like me, that I can actually have a future sight, but not even a tinge of insight. Some groups of people are incompatible. I can't believe it. Yeah, I can't believe it too. It's actually kind of funny if I mention the Chinese in Africa, because the Chinese are actually buying Africa. So it will not be great for them. It's true, man. I'll have to really die hard. It do be. It do be. And I don't hate Christianity. I think Christianity has a lot of really good values, and you can see that throughout history. But the brutal conquest of the conquistadors in the Americas. Yeah, you know why Latin America is not filled with white people? Because of Catholics. Whoops! You know how they still use the same names in the... So the languages have been protected? Yep, Catholics. And that kind of spirit of trying to be good to the other creations of man is what is actually killing Christianity nowadays. It's really hard to say. It's really hard to say, but there's not another explanation. It pains me a little bit to say that the Catholic Church has been infected by a bunch of insane ideologues too. I've seen in this past 6 days mass propaganda, rainbow propaganda from churches, and you have to wonder, but why would you care about this? Isn't pride supposed to be a godly thing? I think that's correct. Then again, what do I know? And nothing more than a heathen, apparently. Where was I? I think we read this one. In Kansas, the Prime Minister welcomed the approaching town from Kemi Badenoch? Sounds solid German. The conservative leader, who on Thursday accused Farage of wiping up anger and division, called for courage and bravery and cool heads. Cool heads, cool rage, what's the difference? They may have been charged following the disorder in Southampton. The Crown Prosecution Service said Matt Styler, 50, been charged with assaulting a police officer, and Dale Frost, 44, have been charged with violent disorder and possession of an offensive weapon over the events on Thursday evening. The pair will appear at Southampton Magistrates Court on Thursday. Look, protests I think are more than fine. I think they're necessary. Do not be violent. That's gonna be a bad look on the whole movement. Put the fear of being alive in people and they fall back in line. Check out El Salvador, which went from one of the most criminal countries to one of the least criminal countries due to extreme dictatorship and serious control and enforcement. That's Bukele, right? Really impressive. Really impressive. You need sometimes an iron fist to fix the problems. As we mention here sometimes, yeah, need Bukele, yeah. It's a bit of a funny sounding name, but still. You need an iron fist sometimes. I'm not saying you need to be a dictator or anything like that, but you need to be harsh. You need to be rough. You need to press the fix everything button. Oh, but it's so mean. I don't care if it's mean. We need to fix this bullshit, man. And Bukele did. You know, those criminals to jail. We don't give a fuck. And that's what should happen here. Here, I mean, just the global West or whatever. Never. You have so many good examples of how to run a country, but no. You know what we need? More immigration. Fuck me in the ass and call me Sally. Holy shit, what's wrong with you people? Surely that will fix the economy. But you need them to work? Yeah, the people that benefit from welfare the most. Yeah, seems like a good idea. Seems like a swell idea, dare I say. Holy fuck, dude. It's so bad. There knowledge there were serious questions that need to be addressed about the way in which the police responded to Novak's stabbing, and whether these issues by officers were influenced by accusations of racism. Deflection, as usual. Jagger Straw, is this the final Jagger Straw? The former Home Secretary has warned that police anti-racism guidelines have gone too far. He oversaw the inquiry into the Stephen Lawrence murder more than 25 years ago. Addressing the controversy over Novak's murder, Straw acknowledged that there had been an overcorrection by police and said that greater care was needed in drafting guidance on race and less notice should be taken of vocal pressure groups. Guidance on race. Why do you want to factor race in all of this? Once again, just because immigrants are overrepresented as criminals, that doesn't mean it's racism. That means they come from different cultures and they don't adapt. That's why they commit more crimes. That's why they break the laws more often. Mentioning that, it's not racism. If you think somebody that's brown it has to be a criminal, yeah, that can be seen as racism, but thinking that somebody being accused of being a criminal just because the guy is brown, suddenly the guy is not a criminal, that's also stupid. You need to be objective when you're a policeman or a police person. A policeman. Because you need to be level-headed and you need to judge the situation. Once again, one is being accused of stabbing, one is being accused of racism. You know what? Do you think a brown guy is gonna be stabbing? And do you think a white guy is not gonna be racist? Unbelievable. My goodness. So to the Daily Telegraph, that there have been a sea change in police attitudes to race since Sir William Macpherson's inquiry found institutional racism in the Met. Which direction for this racism, though? I'm very curious about that one. There's one out of kilter at the time of the Macpherson report. There was no question about that, but sometimes you get reactions which go too far the other way. It actually happened here, he said. Like, that's not what you want to happen. Come on. Come on. Our Chief Inspector Andy George, president of the National Black Police Association, said that claims that policing is biased against white people could set back efforts to end long-standing prejudice against black people. It's not prejudice, it's pattern recognition. If you see somebody that looks like a criminal and is riding at you with a knife, it's probably a criminal. Doesn't matter if the guy is black, white, or whatever. But if some more often than not happens with black people, or Sinks, or whatever, people from outside, that's not racism. You have a demographic problem. And a cultural problem to some extent too. In The Guardian, there's a dangerous policy going back to the town long before Stephen Lawrence's murder, the 60s and 70s, because of the attacks from the far right which have been growing over the past few years, and which are becoming more mainstream. The far right. The far right, just because you want to have your fellow citizens protected and the laws being actually enforced. Insanity. Through New Hampshire and Isle of Wight police officers were scattered out following a course titled the Inclusion Matters Foundation. A foundation course that is mandatory for all staff, according to documents published by the College of Policing earlier this year. They first commissioned the University of Reading. The University of Reading, that's really funny. It's probably a location though, not the verb. This is the training, which has been completed by 6,250 officers and staff. Researchers said employees had created a more inclusive work environment by prioritizing autonomy, competence, and relatedness. More like retardedness, Jesus Christ. At the course and that race disproportionality in staff research had nearly halved. But is that actually good though? I'm gonna be honest, if some groups of people are overwhelmingly overrepresented as criminals, trying to look the other way is only gonna be a detriment. We cannot post statistics. That thing it's evil and racist. And racism. Bunch of fucking idiots. Give me something that works, and I will shut up. The report said high quality policing requires active cooperation from members of the public, especially with regard to sharing information, reporting crimes, and serving as cooperative witnesses. Studies show that the quality of personal contact with the community is crucial to public confidence and perception of police legitimacy, particularly in black and minority ethnic communities. I was seeing a lot of female cops being insanely useless. I see compounding problems here. And Sharon Nile of White Constabulary and the University of Reading have been approached for the comment. Separately, a BBC presenter apologized to Farage after misquoting him on Newsnight. But Charlie, what a funny name, mistakenly quoted Farage as calling for white coal rage rather than pure coal rage. Oh my god, dude, what a disgusting, slimy little piece of shit. In this nice program, which has been removed from iPlayer, as it should be. Oh look, he's a white supremacist! Charlie gave the wrong quote 3 times during the interview with Bednack. 3 times, you know, it was on purpose. He also apologized to Farage and publishing an apology, which said he had been quoted mistakenly. Oh, it was a mistake. It was a mistake. That's really funny. Oh, we have the compound here. We also have this from the BBC. The deeply contentious debate around what it means to be English. It's kind of a long article. We're not gonna go through it. We don't care enough about this. I'm more interested about this insane ratio we can see here. 82 likes, more than 1,000 replies. There's not a deeply contentious debate. Everybody knows what it means to be English, but these people love whistle wording because it's really useful. If you use the same wording, but you change definitions all the time, but English is just a nationality. Well, not really. Sure, it is a nationality, demonstrably so, but it's also an ethnic group. You cannot remove the ethnic part of the idea and be like, oh yeah, anybody can just be English. Well, anybody can potentially be an English citizen, but only a really specific number of people can be native English people. I have here a couple of replies, pretty fucking stuff. There's no debate. Being English is a matter of ancestry. You can self-identify as a different ethnic group, just as men can magically become women by wearing a dress. Ah, this guy's getting banned. This isn't deeply contentious, and it's common sense to deliberately avoid the fact by only quoting cohorts in comments in this article. Many such cases. Debate? There's no debate. The English know who they are, just like the Scottish and Welsh know who they are. Also the Irish. I mean, North Ireland, still the UK. Certain people seem to have a real issue with the English claiming their own identity. There's a word for that. There's a word for that. You'll think, but, you know, the English people doesn't really exist because thousands of years ago, it was just a mixture of different tribes. Well, yeah, that happens literally everywhere. What's the big deal? Are you insane? They're more evil than insane, I do believe. There's no debate. If your parents are not English, then you cannot be English. You can't become Japanese or Congolese. Be Englishman wherever you go. Useful tip: if you look at this, if you look like this, you are not English. You can't be a citizen. Palestine for Palestinians, but anyone can be British. Insanely stupid stuff happening here. I'm gonna be honest. But once again, this is deconstruction of ideas. This is deconstruction of ethnicity in the West. So you can just fuck completely with the West. If anybody can be German, if anybody can be British, if anybody can be whatever you want from the West. But then African for the Africans, the Middle East for Middle Easterns and whatnot. Eventually, the only possible path for these people is to finally recognize that yes, white people cannot be alive. You can't have white people anywhere. Because they don't belong in their countries, but they cannot go anywhere else. Their only possible path is just to die. Well, fuck you, how about that? How about that? Did you know, especially in Europe, I don't know in other locations, but in Europe, in some places, there have been people living there for a grand total of 40,000 years. That's crazy, isn't it? No, you're not native there. And did you have to accept some shit like the Maoris, I think, as natives of New Zealand. They are not natives of New Zealand. They arrived there after the British colonizers. What the fuck do you mean by this? That them people that have been living here for thousands, tens of thousands of years? Nah, you're not a native. Fuck you. Fuck you. You see, white people need a racial awakening. Yeah, you're not gonna like that one if it happens. You're not gonna like it. But hey, don't let me stop you. That'd be silly. We also have, or just served, potential criminal Anthony Jurors after saying they could never send him to prison. He looks like a child. I don't fucking care. He did it. He killed the other kid. And he said so. Fuck him. Death penalty if need be. I know they love death penalty in Texas. Potential jurors in the Carmelo Anthony trial said they couldn't imagine giving him life in prison or putting a brother in jail. Yeah, you cannot have jurors like that. Despite the heinous murder he is charged with, prosecutors in Collin County, Texas, grilled candidates Monday on whether they would use Anthony's age, race, or likeness to their own children when deciding whether he killed fellow teen Austin Metcalf in cold blood. Attorney for the 18-year-old defendant will try to convince the jury he feared for his life when he pulled a knife and stabbed Metcalf in the heart at a track meet in April 2025. It's been more than a year already. That's fucking rough. He feared for his life. No, I don't think you can convince people of that one. Funny enough. He looks like a child. Several said in questioning relayed by WFAA when asked if they could consider a life sentence for the teen who has been charged with first-degree murder. I think you make a decision about somebody so young. One mistake, one argument, one conflict. You can say he's a bad person. The potential juror told Assistant District Attorney Dewey Mitchell, look, it's not that they got into a fight and he ended up killing the other guy in a fist fight by mistake, which, I mean, it's something that could happen, right? It's something that could happen. No, it isn't. That is not the case. Then this article goes further into that. No spoilers thus far. We had to remind panelists that nobody will get in trouble for revealing their feelings about the hot button case, which the Anthony family, who are black, claims is a product of white supremacy. Is it white supremacy when a black kid kills a white kid? If it is, it doesn't seem to be that good for white people. I'm gonna be honest. Accused. I don't think accused is correct here. I know they're trying to be legally compliant, but the guy just said he just killed the guy. I don't know. Mitchell asked panelists how they feel about the statement, and feel comfortable finding an African-American male guilty of murder. You said it! Holy shit! And if you feel right putting a brother in jail, one candidate stated according to WFAA, you cannot have these biased people as jurors because they're not gonna give you a proper solution to the trial. As began questioning the final pool of 250 candidates Wednesday and plan to have a final selection by Wednesday night. Meanwhile, the $600,000 grassroots funds for Anthony's legal fees continue to swell with new donations, which this is against the US, by the way. But since the kid is black, everything is fine. Because now you can have a crowdfunding for these evil purposes. I mean, that's what happened to... not to Chad. Who was it? Was it... I don't remember her name. She had a really strange name. Something Hendricks, I think? Shallow Hendricks? I may be correct. The woman that called a kid that was stealing some of her stuff in a park the N-word. It's not gonna happen because, oh, it's too evil. How about you shut the fuck up? And also close this one down on list. But no, walk more correct, as they say. Many rational sympathizers see Metcalf as a white bully targeting a black victim when he tried to shove Anthony in 1017 from the Republic tent during a rain delay at the track meet in Frisco. Even if he was a bully, do you think stabbing the other guy in the heart is a reasonable response? No. Bastard was right. You cannot live with these people. I think it was me who said that. I think we both think the same though. The fundraising could help Anthony pay for expert witnesses to bolster his case. Veteran defense attorney Randy Zellen told the Post that Anthony's team will be hard pressed to disprove prosecutor's argument that he got the unarmed Metcalf into the counter, ready with his hand on the knife, the Zellen added. I mean, yeah, it was armed already. I don't know. I do think this is a very simple case. They did not want to have this case televised and shown to the public because people are gonna pressure the jurors. People are gonna pressure the jurors no matter what, because this is incredibly politicized. No matter what you think about it. If anything, it should be in the public so everybody can see what the fuck is happening. But as we can see here from the next article, Carmelo Anthony was asked to leave a Boston team stand 15 times before fatal stabbing, when it says opposing teams 15 times. The resolution? Shot to the heart. Stab to the heart. They use the same images all the time. So it seems like the same article, but it's not. High school track star Carmelo Anthony was asked 15 times to leave the tent from an opposing team, but refused to. Little sparking the deadly stabbing of fellow teen Arthur Metcalf last year. A witness testified Friday. The witness, 17-year-old Frisco Memorial High School student, explained that he and at least 6 others were under their school's team tent when he saw Anthony enter wearing the Boston Frisco Centennial High School gear. More students started telling Anthony, "You probably shouldn't be here, you need to leave our tent," recounted the witness. His name was ordered to be withheld because of his age, which reasonable. Still 17, I'm assuming, maybe even younger. If it was inter-school kind of sports event. Several teammates saw Anthony, 10-17, deliver around 15 times, including Metcalf. Ask me and find out, Anthony responded at the Hugendall Stadium. When the roughly 2 minutes leave, Metcalf 17 gave Anthony a minor pushing, and Anthony stabbed Metcalf, the teen testified, in the heart. A minor pushing. You've seen the kind of push, right? I don't think I need to explain this. It's pretty obvious the kind of get the fuck out of here, pal. Don't even try to push the guy into the ground. Stabbed because of that. And we're meant to believe, it's white supremacy. Why did this kid have a knife for this sports event? What? That sounds really strange, I'm gonna be honest. Leading up to the fatal moment, Anthony had his hand in his open backpack on his lap, but the students all thought he was bluffing. The witness said. Anthony ditched the knife and bolted down the stands and onto the track. So much for that! I understand you don't want to be in a different tent because I don't want to get wet. Just not again, you start running? God fucking damn it, these kids are so fucking stupid and pissing me off. Just killing people for the sake of it. If it was actual self-defense, maybe. If there was an actual reason to get just into this fight, quote-unquote fight, it was not even a fight, maybe you could understand it. It's so stupid. It's just people wanting to kill people for free. People just trying to find some fucking trouble. And actually encounter the trouble. But it's not them. It's not them who get in trouble in the end, is it? The guy fell on his back, stood back, up and lifted his shirt, easily on the railing. With a scared look on his face, he saw his bleeding chest, and the teen claimed, "Yeah? Yeah, that's not good. I mean, the kid is dead, so what did you expect?" I think he said, "Oh my god," to call Metcalf, saying, "Just heard the 911 call made by the witness, which he frantically told the operator, 'My friend just got stabbed. My friend is bleeding everywhere.'" Then denied that the memorial students ganged up on Anthony, still claiming that Anthony created the problem. I mean, if the witnesses are correct, which seems believable, it would be correct. If they were ganging up on him, why did he flee? Right? Like that. Especially leaving the weapon behind. I don't know, it seems really strange, right? Don't think we can see self-defense here at all. Kelly Matthews, a second teammate of Metcalf who is 18 and has since graduated, testified during the inter-exchange Metcalf's twin, Hunter, was on his phone believing that the sibling would handle the situation. And one of the memorial students said, "You have nothing in the backpack, you're from Frisco." Matthews recalled. Okay, alright. Anthony was looking off into the distance and he clearly knew what he had his mind set on, Matthew said. Okay, once again, this is just the witness. I'm maybe taking this seriously. But I don't think these kids are lying. Why would they? I don't think this is... These kids were just ganging up on the poor black American. This guy was just looking for trouble, clearly. It was not the spur of the moment attack. He was looking for problems. He was just looking for an excuse to stab somebody. And you tell me, you have... Oh, shit, I closed the tab, what a shame. And you tell me you will see some people, oh, but he looks like a kid. We shouldn't send a brother to jail. Are you fucking insane? The racial tribalism is outstanding, not gonna lie. And everybody else does this. White people, they do not. Oh, brother. I don't know what they're asking of this guy. I don't think it's that penalty, but we'll see. We'll see if it happens. He recalled that the gap pushed Anthony upward like 90-mile trails, and at the same time Anthony moved to stand stabbing Metcalf. Matthew said it didn't look like the knife was in self-defense because Metcalf wasn't threatening Anthony. He said that Anthony was the instigator. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. You cannot be here, you need to go to a different tent. 15 times. And what did you do? Stab somebody in the heart. My goodness, this fucking dire. Earlier Friday, jury heard Hunter sobbing and screaming and body cam video played in court in the moments after Ashton was stabbed. And look, seeing your brother die has to be fucking brutal. Seeing your twin brother die has to be extremely fucked up. You're looking at your own face dying. That sounds insanely depressing. Anthony's lawyer claimed Metcalf provoked Anthony, and April 2nd, 2025 stabbing was in self-defense. Anthony, who pleaded not guilty, faced up to life in prison if convicted. Who pleaded not guilty, but he said he did it. What the fuck? Oh, young Anthony was up to no good. Yeah. Seems like that's great. It appears, according to the evidence and witness statements, that this was a premeditated act. Maybe not against Austin necessarily, but he was clearly trying to get somebody to touch him just to stop them. Could have been anybody. He was a Star Trek athlete. Why wasn't he with his team preparing for events? I don't know. It's such a stupid fucking situation. We have a tweet here. Update! Day 2 of testimony in the Carmelo Anthony murder trial. Jury was young and father of the weapon used to kill Austin Metcalf. Father was a 5-inch folding knife with blood in it. Frisco police officer Jacob Schultz testified after he found the murder weapon Carmelo Anthony tossed. The knife was found 3 to 4 rows from where the crime took place. I mean, reasonable. Schultz also located Anthony's backpack. Frisco police officer Eduardo Cortez testified. Carmelo Anthony heard Cortez that he had the alleged suspect over the police scanner. Anthony volunteer said, "I'm not alleged. I did it. He put his hands on me. I told him not to." I mean, why do you even have an actual case, right? Pretty much self-admission here. Send him in jail. Work him to the bone. We love slavery. Because he's a criminal, okay? Not because he's black. I don't care that he's black. We can have any kind of slaves anyway. We just deserve them. You watched the body cam footage. Rescue firefighter Neil Adams testified and stated that Austin Metcalf was gray and didn't have a pulse when he responded. He did everything to save him. And got emotional and understand and started tearing up. I mean, if it was to the heart, difficult. And chance of death penalty, right? Now answering court bullets and constitution to put anyone under the age of 18 to death. But he's not under the age of 18. because he was not 18 when this happened. Isn't Carmelo with the gay? Why are you trying to fix it to EC, you fucking idiot? Chotto. This looks a little bit strange. This looks a little bit strange if you ask me. Okay, alright, let's see here. This is an Instagram post from yesterday. Fox News saying Carmelo Anthony, 19, faces a murder charge in the death of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf. If he is 19 now, wouldn't he be 18 last year when this happened? Unless his birthday was between April 5th when this happened and today or yesterday, which was June 5th. I think it's unlikely, but possible nonetheless. Let's see if we can find the date of birth. No, this is a different guy. 1984, that's a different guy. Ah, that's what you're trying to fix it to EC. Famous birthdays. May 10th, 2007, if this is correct. Then he who had been 17 through the stabbing. They would really care though. They would really care. I don't think so, right? I just think we do. I just don't think we care too much about that. It's a technicality, he's not below 18 anymore. He was about to be 18 anyway. Did he know? Did he know he would not get death penalty because he was 17? Possible. Possible. I don't think most of these people are really smart anyway. But possible nonetheless. Life sentence, I think, is fine. Work him to the bone, baby. Work him to the bone. We also have here, since we mentioned the pineapple kool-aid before, I had this thing here. Was kind of the only decent article that mentioned it from the Liberty Line, which kind of seems more like a blog than actual news, but probably works. Disgusting behavior. Kids are pickling pineapples in Kool-Aid and are starting to think we've lost the next generation. I'm not sure if I'm a little confused about the foods or about their speech. That'd be good. What the fuck does it mean? What the fuck does it mean? Once again, I had to wonder, how is it possible that I have a better speech skill while being ESL than these people that are allegedly native? Well, maybe Hassan is also ESL, right? Growing up in Turkey and all that. These kids are American. I don't know what they're talking about. I cannot parse the sounds into words. I'm gonna be honest. Might be too old. But still. I'm typically on the side that the kids will be alright. Every generation has their thing. Every generation does stuff that makes the older generation uncomfortable. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. Except this. I'm breast most of the time. A video pops up of children prickling pineapples in blue raspberry and lemonade Kool-Aid, and I had to completely reconsider that stance. It has so much sugar, dude. I've seen some people cooking some of this shit. My teeth are breaking already. Not even talking about diabetes. My teeth are breaking already. Just looking at those. Insane, dude. Look at this kid. This is supposed to be pineapple. Why is it red? I'm also saying red Kool-Aid, pickled kiwi, or something like that. Very strange. Very strange. Kids are pickling pineapples in Kool-Aid. Burn it all down. One jar can change your life. Damn, the motherfucker is good as a motherfucker. Huh? Am I insane? Yeah, wait.
Man, that motherfucker good as a motherfucker. Want to take a bite? Take a bite. Here, I hold it for you. Let me see, I got you.
Take a bite. Hey, it looks
Here we
disgusting.
go.
Not take care about the chick.
Good.
What is this speech? Maybe it's too late. Maybe this is already the end of the world. What am I looking at? Blue spur lemon and kool-aid pineapples. Several unsaid bear blast waffles. Paired with hot Cheeto wings. Wild haircuts. Missing teeth. This could be... shit, how do they call them? Crack addicts? I know they're not crackers. That's rice crackers, right? Substitute. Shit, there's a name for that. Hold up. Help me! Crackhead? I think I was thinking of crackhead. Gen Z or crackhead? Pick your poison. Could be the same. Demons in the kitchen creating food combinations that will make a person commissary. Chef say, nah, it's too far. This is what the youth of America is producing in 2026. Not inventions, not art. And solutions to the problems their parents left them. Kool-aid pickled fruit and hot Cheeto poultry. Blue spur lemon and kool-aid pineapples with bear blast waffles and hot Cheeto wings. I think Bobby Kennedy is right. This coloring is insane. Also, so much sugar, dude. Oh my god. How many aspects I like about the US? Food is not one of them.
Nigga, my feet on point.
Okay. Alright, but probably actual music we cannot play. Look at it, looks foul, dude. My goodness. It's begin with the hand. Ugh. Oh my god, it's radioactive. I know when pickling things in Kool-Aid became a trend, but I needed to stop immediately. Pickling is for cucumbers. Cucumbers cook in vinegar, and dill, and garlic, and they become pickles. There are more things you can pickle, to be fair. But sure. That's the system. It's worked for thousands of years. Nobody asked for innovation in the pickling space. Nobody was sitting around thinking, you know what will make this pineapple better? Soaking it in blue raspberry lemonade powder for 48 hours until it turns a color that doesn't exist in nature. But it's rather criminal. It's not just the pineapples, it's the entire plate. The full presentation. Locally pineapples is the bear blast waffles. It's the hot Cheeto crusted chicken wings. 3 items on a plate. Not a single one of them belongs in the kitchen. Or the human realm, maybe. Every component of this meal was created by someone who has never tasted a vegetable and has no intention of starting. Hot Cheeto wings have been around for a while, and I've made peace with them. Fine. You got chicken crusted hot Cheetos and fried. Not my thing, but it's not the appeal. I mean, comparison is not that bad, I wouldn't say. The Kool-Aid pineapples are where I draw the line. The thinking fruit that is already sweet, already delicious, already perfect the way nature made it. You're submerging it in artificial powder that turns it neon blue. For what? What are we accomplishing here? That problem doesn't solve. The pineapple was fine. Hey, the pineapple alone! You had to read the right course. Oh, brother. Why are they all so fat? I mean, the white kids are not fat. Even the black guy here, he seems normal. Normal body size, I mean. Look at the tricks. I said that with love, but also with genuine concern for the future of this country. Somewhere along the way, food content in the internet became a race to the bottom, where the goal isn't to make something that tastes good, but to make something that looks insane enough to go viral. They got shadow out here by Kool-Aid pineapples. This bear market can get soon enough.
What flavor that is?
Cherry.
Strawberry, not no damn cherry.
However.
Holy shit, dude! It's fucking glowing! This fucking pineapple glows more than a fed. That's crazy.
Let me show you one more time.
Yeah, that man is a diabetes waiting to die. Nobody in Kool-Aid pickled pineapples is doing it because the flavor profile is superior to regular pineapple. They're doing it because the video gets views, and the comments fill up with people saying, "Oh my god, I need to try this!" In reality, nobody needs to try this. Nobody should try this. This should be classified as a biohazard, not a recipe. I create. I don't think they're gonna mention it here. Apparently, allegedly, these jars have the same amount of sugar as 24 Krispy Kreme donuts, which they seem extremely sugary to me already, so you're gonna lose your teeth, and your legs, and potentially your pancreas too. So, maybe not. Maybe they're not. The bad haircuts and missing teeth in the video are just the cherry on top of a cultural moment that I'm choosing to believe is a phase and not a permanent duration for humanity. Things can always get worse though. Every generation goes through a weird food phase. And they've tried everything at the state fair, but that's more normal. You're still using oil, okay? Maybe too much. Sure, I can agree to it. But I understand the pro-revolution. The generation before us had yellow molds with hot dogs suspended inside them. I've seen those. Absolutely foul. No. This generation has Kool-Aid pickled fruit and hot Cheeto protein. It's not terrible, but the Kool-Aid pickling feels like a new law that I wasn't prepared for on a random Tuesday. I'm going back to my position that the kids will be alright, but I'm holding the position loosely right now. Very loosely. One more Kool-Aid pickling video and I'm switching sides permanently. Understandable. Very strange. Very strange stuff. I'm more worried about these people not being able to talk than the pickling in itself. I have another fun article here. Not a new one. Not a new one. I will mention that. It went viral again, but it's not a new article. It's 2021. August 25th, 2021. Man dies after having sex using epoxy adhesive instead of a condom. Do not. Police say a man may have died after using a high-powered epoxy resin to seal his private parts during intercourse to ensure protection from pregnancy. A local police investigator reportedly said that 25-year-old Salma Mirza, extremely Indian, decided to use the epoxy instead of a condom and it may have complicated his health condition. Yeah, being alive. He was found unconscious a day after entering a hotel with his ex-fiancée. He was hospitalized but died. Police officers told the Times of India that the pair had taken some drugs and then decided to have sex. Since they didn't have any protection, he decided to apply the adhesive on his private parts to ensure that she does not get pregnant, the paper reported. Police said the Mirza died due to multiple organ failure. Might have been the drugs, but still. The incident took place in late June, but it's only now being reported. The investigation is ongoing. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And let's finish for today with this dude that I mentioned before. Oh, brother. Some users who previously praised and defended God of War's Luffy. I think I'm gonna call it Lo-Fi, just because that's gonna probably piss everybody off. Are claimed that the new Stellar Blade panders to pedophiles by sexualizing a minor with its protagonist. It's a minor. Have you seen the ass? Yeah, that's not a kid, pal. Holy ass. One comment reads, it looks like she's 12 to 14 years old in Blood Rain. Blood Rain. Close. Raising adult-looking women is one thing, but pandering to pedophiles by sexualizing girls who look like children or young teenagers is something entirely different. Expect a lot of this in the next months. This literally happened with the Stellar Blade 1. Despite the model being in her 40s, mid-40s if I'm not mistaken. We're surrounded by fucking lunatics. Dang, you don't want a woman? That means you hate women. Oh, you want a woman, huh? Fucking pedophile. You get along with these people. They hate games, and they hate gamers. Fuck them. Fuck them all. The game looks great, but it will absolutely not allow them all to make her look a little bit older. She looks like a teenager, not the teenagers, including 18 and 19-year-olds. It's just me. Somebody ran this through AI. The AI mentioned 23 years old. Whatever. There's people saying, you don't like girls in games. And then people say they like Stellar Blade or Claire and Resident Evil. And then they suddenly change their argument. Most of them are idiots who think they want to play as a middle-aged Karen with a drinking problem. No thanks. And there's been a lot of discourse with Lo-Fi here on the left. Because she looks pretty rough. And the model's pretty beautiful, right? And you have people saying, oh, look at this. The chats are saying this woman is ugly. No. They're not saying the woman is ugly. They're saying the in-game model is very ugly, which it actually is. But then again, if they wouldn't lie, they couldn't speak at all. Think of these people. You can always count on the internet to be part of the curse. I was saying to myself when I was watching that trailer, it won't even take 24 hours to start commenting on shit like that if you like this game. You're a pedophile? What a joke. It will keep happening. Very sad with these people. You know how it is. See? I don't want to be a pedophile. That's why I don't want women in my games. Ah, you're a misogynist. Whatever. Who the fuck cares? I don't care about women in video games. But sometimes, you know it's forced because of politics. Especially when Mom of War was started development 6 to 7 years ago. They were expecting a different political climate, I bet. It did not happen. You love to see it though. You love to see it. There was also a hilarious clip. You see gameplay like this and you bitch about the game because a woman? 10 minutes and a half. It's no gameplay. It's just a thing. I don't think you have any inputs there. Maybe some QTE if you're lucky, but that's it. You're your average little Korean woman to me, because I'm not strictly racist or bigot, that is allergic to anything that doesn't represent me. Like the range left. I mean, sure, she looks young, but people in the far east look really young for a long time. Hilarious. Fucking hilarious. You can agree with these people. Very annoying. Very annoying piece of shit, overall. Ah, shit, man, it's fine. Can just fix that at any moment here. I was resetting the zone for the Twitter machine. I only zoom in for stream, of course, so everything is a little bit closer, a little bit bigger, a little bit more readable, as it should be. You kinda win with these fucking people. They hate you, no matter what happens. But I thought gamers like games. Yeah, these games are ass. Next question. I don't know, man. They're hilariously wrong all the time. Anyway, I guess that's for me to end for today. Plan for next week. I've been doing some research into the Agatha meme. It's actually far more deep than I expected, not gonna lie. Might actually do a stream about that next week. I need to do more research. I will do that later. We need to touch into several different memes. It is quite insane. It is quite insane. But we're gonna be playing Pokemon Diamond on Monday, for sure. We need to mine. First we poke, then we mine. Hopefully we can get fossils. The fossil only one somewhat early, somewhat fast. That'd be pretty nice. We'll be probably playing Bull's Fury on Wednesday, if we do Agarth on Thursday. If not, if I think I need much more content for that stream, Bull's Fury will probably still be on Thursday, and I will bring up some one-off for Wednesday. Don't know what yet. Something. And yeah. Pretty much it. The schedule will be up tomorrow, late tomorrow as usual. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, time for me to give me leave. So thank you all for coming. Hope you had some fun. I do think some of these articles today were usually the positive. I do get passionate when these politicians just start spouting fucking nonsense. Because that's what it is. There's now 2-tier policy. Shut the fuck up, dude. You're lying. You're a fucking liar and I hate you. But we see some justice maybe being enacted, which, holy shit, it was about time. And coming back on Monday with Pokemon Diamond. Until then, in other words, never become desperate. Never black pill. Because the future for us is bright. Maybe not as bright as that red pineapple we just saw, but bright nonetheless. And take care.